Did I stutter?
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The 2011 winner of the Heisman Trophy is Robert Griffin III, RG3!
Welcome to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Langoliers, base hit to center, and the Baylor Bears win their first Big 12 tournament championship.
Their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Yep, just ready for OU.
You can't handle the truth.
Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome into the Petty Clinical OT Bears Den. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Super Tuesday, coming off a big Monday where the women's bracket was announced last night. Baylor Bears, a number 2 seed, taking on Jackson State in the Riverwalk region. How about that?
Okay.
Not only that, just about every basketball coach in the country was fired yesterday. I got fired. You got fired.
Yeah,
We're not coaching college basketball anymore
deal.
after everybody. No one is safe.
It was like, I think Pat McAfee last week called similar to the NFL salary cap deal, like massacre week. This is massacre week for college basketball head coaches.
Everyone in the Midwest is gone.
No capes. No
Except
capes, no
for
coaches.
one coach in the Midwest, and that is Coach Brian Morehouse of Hope College,
Yes, sir.
who we had on this show 2 weeks ago to talk about a little thing that he did for his seniors. Armstrong, do we have that video? I know I sent it to you. We can play it. We can overlay it with some of these. But there was a video. Coach Morehouse started his 9 seniors on senior night. Same program that's won over 40 games straight. I mean, it's almost 50 now for Coach Morehouse and company. And he had a group of 9 seniors. So instead of starting 5 of them on senior night, he said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go full sentence on all 9 of them.
Which is a good strategy. I bet they're playing 9 on 5. I bet you win that game.
It's tough to lose like
every
that.
single time.
It's tough to lose like that.
That's good odds.
Apparently, he had to take a technical, which if I had to decide this, I wouldn't have given him one.
That's ticky-tack.
But they did it anyway.
Ticky-tack.
Coach Morehouse, thanks for coming on again.
Hey, appreciate the opportunity, guys. Nice to join you again.
Absolutely. This time we can see him. I mean, he's right there, better looking on Zoom than I thought he would be. Coach Morehouse, you just pulling out all the stops today.
Nobody has ever said that about me on Zoom or anything. So,
Coach, you know, one of the parts of having you on, we really love the culture that you talked about with this program. And one of the things you mentioned is you've got All-American seniors, All-American caliber seniors in this program, 9 of them that are all, set to depart. But with the NCAA granting student athletes another year of eligibility, somehow or another, you've now got the opportunity to bring some of those players back.
Yeah, we hope that they will take up that opportunity, but we also understand that they have a lot of things in place moving forward. And, they're heading off to grad schools. We have nurses that have job offers already. We have an engineer that already has a job. And so, we don't take it lightly that they don't have like that next phase planned out, but the NCAA has at least provided an opportunity for them to make a decision that might be best for them and their family, and we'll see how that all plays out.
And Coach, how much of a sales pitch are you giving to these seniors? Obviously, you mentioned everyone has a plan post-graduation, so that wasn't necessarily plan A for a lot of people. Are you giving a sales pitch to these seniors?
No, not a big one anyway, because I think it's a huge decision for them. We're not just talking about, hey, come and stay for a couple more weeks. I mean, training for next year starts now. And so there's a lot that goes into it. There's academics. There's a financial component where they have to pay to come back and pay for their room and board and their tuition for that other year. So one thing I've learned in my 25 years is what you don't want to do is you don't want to mess with families' finances, and you want really bright young women to be empowered to make a decision that's best for them. And I have complete confidence that the women in our program will make a decision that's not best for me, because that would be very short-sighted. It has to be best for them in the long run. And if they choose that, we'll be even better than what we expect to be next year, should some of them choose to come back.
Well, how about this? On top of Coach Morehouse, we've got joining the show today Kennedy Schoonveld and Olivia Voskuhl, who both decided, Coach, we love this program. We love this college. We love everything about it. And we want to play for you again. So both of you and Kennedy, we'll start with you. Kennedy, what does Hope College and Hope women's basketball, now almost 50 straight wins, number 1 in Division III, conference champions again, what does this program mean to you?
It means a lot to me. I grew up near Hope. My dad is the athletic director here at Hope, so I've grown up going to games. And I knew all the players back when I was little, and I always kind of aspired to be them. And so to have the opportunity now to play for these last 4 years and then now again for another year is just like the greatest thing in the world. I can't wait to do it.
Awesome. Then Olivia, for you, in terms of your original sales pitch on Hope College, tell us about your recruiting story and how you got to Hope.
Yeah, so if I think back to when I was in high school, I kind of remember the two main schools I was looking between at the end were Hope and Grand Valley. Grand Valley, I think I was going to go and play volleyball there, and then Hope was for basketball. But kind of comparing those two schools and my original factor deciding whether to come to Hope was just, I was really enticed by the people of Hope College, and I just felt like I could have a very well-balanced life at Hope with sports, academics, friends, faith, and I've found that here, and so it's really, really awesome.
For those that are just joining the show, we've got Coach Brian Morehouse, Kennedy Schoonveld, and Olivia Voskuhl joining the show talking about Hope College, where Coach Brian Morehouse had a viral video just a few weeks ago where he started all 9 seniors. And since then, I mean, again, he already talked about it. He said that these seniors, go out in the real world, be contributors in society. You don't have to stick around. You go live your life, be empowered women. And now, Coach, what does it mean to you, these two individual players? What do they mean to you in general?
Well, I think they embody what we hope you attract to Hope College, but then also what they grow into. They both come from amazing families. They had all the right values growing up, hard work, humble. They have a high level of compete, which I don't think that you develop as much as you're born with. But I mean, they were just held to a very high standard growing up. And, they graduated from one of the more difficult high schools, in my opinion, in the state of Michigan. If you look at the students that matriculate to college, how they do on test scores and everything, their high school is incredibly good at preparing students. So, we inherited some pretty amazing, 2 amazing women into our program. And then what our job is to do is nurture them and challenge them and support them and help them grow in every phase of their life. And I think that we've done a good job of that, but we had a pretty good product that we had when they arrived. And then it was just a matter of us really encouraging them and challenging them, and let them go do the rest. And, they embody everything that we would want in a Hope College student athlete. They have strong faith base. They have incredible academics. I mean, they both have over a 3.8, 3.9 grade point average in engineering and a social work program. And put together with that, they're the first in the weight room. They're the first on the court to get individual skill workouts. And, they are what we would want every student to aspire to be when they arrive on Hope's campus.
Now, Kennedy, we asked Coach the same question when we had him on, but I want to hear your take on this. What was the reaction from both yourself and your teammates when Coach says, all right, we're going to go with 9 starters on senior night?
Yeah, I think initially we were all pretty shocked. A lot of us were like, no way, you're not actually doing that. That's crazy. But then it was just excitement. I think it was a really cool opportunity for all 9 of us who have, been through a lot together these last 4 years, just with, student athlete life in general. And then COVID being the craziness that it's been for our team. It was just really cool to be able to do that all together and go out on our last home game all together. So.
Olivia, for you, with a coach like Coach Morehouse that was crazy enough to put 9 seniors out there, I mean, you got to really have some gumption to do that. What does it mean to play for a guy like Coach Brian Morehouse?
It's been awesome these past 4 years. If I think about it, I really only had, I think, my high school coach and then Mo. So that's kind of all I've ever known. I didn't play AAU basketball or anything, but Mo has taught me so much about basketball, first of all. I don't really think I knew anything much about it coming into college, thinking back. But also just off the court, he's been amazing. And like he was talking about earlier, helping the women on his team nurture them and helping them grow into incredible women has just been really, really a blessing.
And Coach, Olivia touched on it a little bit. What do you hope that these women have once they leave Hope College, whether it's this year or next year after the season?
Yeah, I think for me, the big thing is putting them in a position where they can walk out into any job interview and having been sort of honed by the competitive excellence in our program, walk into any job interview, any job, and understand the level of preparedness that they have, but also have the confidence to know that there's not a job or a grad school out there that they should not apply to. And I do think that is a challenge from time to time with young people, is they look at the 10 check boxes that they need to do to fill a grad school requirement or a job interview, and they're like, I only check off 7 of those. And I think there are some people that are arrogant enough to think, well, if I only check off 3, I should go for the job. And then there are other people that are like, if I don't check off all 10, maybe that job isn't for me. And what we're trying to do is just really empower them to understand that let other people make the decision if you're worthy or not. But you're greater than what you probably give yourself credit for. And so just go for it. The worst thing that could happen is somebody said, this isn't the right year for you at our grad school. Thanks for your interview. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, failing while trying isn't a bad thing. Not trying and not finding out, I think, is the sin. And so, you know, you've got a couple pretty amazing people on your screen. One of them will probably end at the University of Michigan in their engineering program. The other one is going to be a Baylor Bear in their program down there. I know you guys will be very excited to have someone of her quality heading to your town. So we're pretty excited, and you know, they're just 2 examples of the kind of players that we are able to be fortunate enough to coach and turn out at Hope College.
It's Kennedy, you're the one that's going to Baylor, correct?
Yeah.
What? Wow. What does that say about Hope College women's basketball that she forewent starting for Kim Mulkey's squad next year just to go back to play another year at Hope College? Kennedy, and that kind of goes back to your success, the Hopies Female Athlete of the Year in 2020, and All-American in multiple categories, Co-Regional Player of the Year, all of that. I don't want to get too much into your story about why you came back to Hope College, but what I do want to know is, when you think about it, most of the players, by the time they go through 4 years, are like, all right, do I have to go to practice again? I mean, All-American, and I mean, come on, do I have to keep putting in work? But you committed to that. You committed to putting in work and going back out there and going through the grind again. I mean, was that did that go into your decision, knowing that you would have to go through the grind of being a college athlete?
I mean, yeah, I do think that was a little bit of a factor, but at the same time, I love the game so much. And I think that the younger players on our team, the players that will be coming back next year, are awesome. And I love the girls. So, you know, when you love the game as much as I do, and you love the people that you're playing with as much as I do, and the coaches that we have, it's not that hard of a decision in the end.
Now, Kennedy, Olivia, same question for you. Did you or did you not leverage cutting summer conditioning when you were talking about coming back to Hope?
I did not yet, but no, I think it'll be great either way. I think that last week of our season, I was kind of like, wow, I really can't picture myself. Like, what am I going to do without basketball workouts? Like, yes, they're hard and crazy hard at sometimes, but I mean, I think in the end, I actually do enjoy that. So,
Coach, back to you. One of the things we talked about the first time we met on this show, you mentioned those 9 seniors, and now they all have a trajectory for success, to be successful after college. And they, like you said, they've got lives set up for themselves already. And some of them are choosing to forego that to come play again. But I want to know, it seemed like you didn't necessarily expect any of the 9 to make the decision to play basketball for a year again. So when you get that call from 2 All-American caliber players that say, Coach, we're coming back to play for you, was that emotional for you?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was both. It was emotional, I think, for me, not for the reason that people think it would be emotional for me. Okay. People are like, oh, that means your team's going to be really good next year. Our team was going to be pretty good next year, even if they didn't come back. The emotional part for me comes in just watching the impact that they have on our community, on younger players, on my family, and just being able to be around them as people. It's you sometimes have players that, they were really good for you, but they've run their course, and they kind of wear you out by the end because they want to, maybe not do the workouts, and they take shortcuts and things like that. I mean, when these 2 women say, like, I know that you joke about the summer workouts, like, they love them. I mean, it's crazy. I walk into the gym and there's Boss, working out and in the summertime, and, just her, and she's getting shots up and getting better. And, Kennedy, goes to Africa for 3 months one summer and is working out, while she's in Africa, not on a hoop, but like running and push-ups and staying in shape. And then she comes back, and I'm like, easy does it. Like, you're not going to get it all done in like 2 days, getting back. And she's like, I got to get caught back up. And I'm like, you're going to be fine. And then she goes on to be an All-American. Yeah. So for me, it was more, the emotional part was more the relationship and having 2 incredible human beings like this be able to come back, and I selfishly get to spend, another 12 months with them, more so than, they're going to make buckets for me.
Coach, I'm going to ask you this question because I think both your players might downplay it a little bit. College football has made it seem like the graduate transfer process is seamless. I mean, we see guys go from school to school at different levels. Obviously, there's quite a few hoops you have to jump through to be able to stay at a school after your senior year. What kind of hoops are these girls having to jump through to be a part of the program at Hope College next year?
I think they both have had the opportunity to take a couple more classes that they needed to graduate. So they just put those off for another semester. So that allowed them to, come back, maybe work on a minor that maybe they have an interest in, take some classes that maybe, if you're an engineer and you're a social worker, there's not any wiggle room in your major to be able to take more classes. And so, for me, I think it's going to give them an opportunity to maybe branch out and take some things that they never thought that they would take before. And I'm not talking like basket weaving, but like there's some cool leadership programs on our campus, and just things that I think will help grow them, for future jobs, and that I think that they're really looking forward to. The interesting thing, and I haven't told Olivia this, but I haven't seen her other than in the weight room yesterday, and everybody was around, so I wasn't going to bring this up, but a Division II school called me and they're like, hey, we were just thinking that maybe, she's probably has eligibility left. She probably can't play at your school anymore. And I said, you know what, you're a couple days too late. But I don't think that she would have enjoyed that school anyway, but I'll tell her about it later on and we'll have a good chuckle about it and see what she says.
Wow.
Poachers,
breaking
man.
News here on Up Tempo. Olivia, I love it. Well, last question for both the players here. And Olivia, we'll start with you and then go to Kennedy. Olivia, just plainly put, what does Hope College, this basketball program, what do they mean to you?
I think it means literally more than anything anyone could even imagine. These past 4 years have been the best 4 years of my life, and I've met people on the basketball team, people not on the basketball team at Hope, who will be my friends for life, and I couldn't be more thankful.
And then Kennedy, same question for you. What does this place mean to you?
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of hard to put into words, but it means a lot. I think Hope is a really special place regardless of, basketball or any sport that you could play. It's just a really, really awesome place to be and a really cool place to go to school. But yeah, then being on the basketball team is just like such a privilege to be a part of. And it's been really, really special these past couple of years. But same thing as Olivia, I think just the relationships I've built and the things that I've learned in terms of leadership and all that good stuff has just been incredible. And so I'm really thankful to have had the opportunity to go here and to play here.
Well, Coach Brian Morehouse, Kennedy Schoonfeld, and Olivia Voskuhl, thanks so much for joining the show today. It's a pleasure to have you guys as always. I mean, Kennedy and Olivia, you guys went to high school together, now winning championships in college together, on the cusp of a national championship next year. Coach, thanks so much for doing this. We found your story and we fell in love with it, and having you guys on the show is awesome.
Hey, we appreciate the opportunity, and good luck as you guys continue to grow your show, and you guys do a great job, and keep it up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. All you guys, wow. Look, the feel-good stories, man. That right there, Hope College, you got 9 players. You've been there. You've seen small schools, and it's a family. Like, it's that tight-knit, everybody loves everybody knows everybody. And then, oh, man, you can't compete for a national championship. You got 2 players that forego grad school at Baylor, grad school at Michigan, to come back for another year and play college basketball at Hope College.
To run it back, man.
That's
tough,
back.
Man. That's tough to have the rest of your life is in front of you, and you're already, they don't owe Hope College anything. Like, they have signed on and fulfilled whatever their signature meant on signing day to Hope College. And so for them to want to come back, to want to go and finish what they started, to want to have another chance at a national championship, just high class people, and says a lot about Coach Morehouse and the program he's built.
No WNBA prospect. It's not like you come back, you'll make more money the next season. They just, for the love of the game, the love of the school, the love of the coaching staff, opted to, again, forego the start of their life after college to come back and play for Hope College. And that video where Coach Morehouse, you can tell why Coach Morehouse started all 9 of his seniors on senior day, because the program has that kind of culture. It's a little Baylor over there in Michigan.
Little Baylor. That's good. That's a good way to say it.
Michigan. I'm Drake Toll. It's J.D. Pickell. Cole's in here. Armstrong Sims in here. When we come back, we're breaking down the women's basketball bracket. Baylor, the number 2 seed against Jackson State in round 1. This is Up Tempo.
The Lady Bears are going dancing. And for the 9th straight season, Kim Mulkey's squad enters the postseason as a 2-seed or higher, as Baylor has clinched the 2-seed in the Riverwalk region. The team will meet 15-seed Jackson State in round 1 and face the winner of Virginia Tech and Marquette in round 2. UConn, Kentucky, and Tennessee also make up the powerhouse teams in Baylor's quadrant. The game will be played on Sunday at 3 p.m. And also on the women's side, Gino Auriemma has tested positive for COVID-19 and will be delayed in traveling to San Antonio. On the men's side, 6 referees have been sent home from the bubble in Indianapolis due to a positive test and contact tracing. Reports state that John Higgins is included in the group. Elsewhere, Indiana fired head basketball coach Archie Miller yesterday, with Iowa State following suit soon after to let go of Steve Prohm after a dismal 2-22 season. Minnesota also fired their head man, as Richard Pitino will no longer walk the sidelines after 8 seasons with the Golden Gophers. And Kansas State's Antonio Gordon has announced that he will be transferring from the basketball team to play his junior season elsewhere. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could. During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84, and no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Allen Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Sit down, Bob. I'm not happy, Bob. Not happy.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll and J.D. Pickell for the Blonde Boys Power Hour.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. I'm Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong Sims on Up Tempo today. The women's bracket is released. The Baylor Lady Bears are in the Riverwalk region, the Wiwawa region.
How about these names? Alamo, Hemisphere?
Alamo.
Not Hemisphere, Hemisphere. Mercado?
Mercado. That's what they do.
These are way cooler names in the men's bracket.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The men's bracket is north, south, east, west.
Sign me up.
Talking about politics, talking about crazy. Talking it out. So the Baylor Bears, round 1, Jackson State. Not on my upset watch.
Nope.
Not on my upset watch whatsoever. I will say, I think Baylor got slighted. I don't just think they got slighted. I know that Baylor got slighted here with a round 1 being on the same side of the bracket as UConn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the crap, man?
They're going to have to play them at some point. True. In my opinion, I really think this Baylor team runs the table. I think they run the table. I don't see them losing to anybody. I think Kim Mulkey, I think the firepower they have offensively, their bench play, like they are too good. I don't think they lose. And if they do, it's in the Final Four.
Speaking of, DJ Nate Carrington joins the show later on today, if we have time. There's a lot of stuff going on today. It's great. It's the loaded show today. Call line's open, 254-339-1122. Call us, text us, 254-339-1122. Phone lines are open. I had a conversation with DJ Nate Carrington yesterday that we'll take a look at later on in the day today. And man, it was good.
What a weapon she is.
She transferred from Stanford and has been a key piece for this Baylor team this season, women's basketball team. And now number 2 seed against number 15 Jackson State. This has got to be the Baylor King. Says Jackson State's women's basketball team has someone very similar to Natasha Mack in terms of double-doubles, points and rebounds, and over 3 blocks a game. Okay. So some presence, some posts. Got to get a little Queen Egbo action in there to try to stop her.
I mean, my biggest thing with Baylor is they're just better coached than any team they're going to play, and that matters so much in March, especially in the women's bracket. And then also what they have coming out the bench with Carrington, like the depth they have, especially in women's college basketball, you see a good starting 5, but to have that firepower on the bench, those two things to me are just the trump cards in any game Baylor plays.
I'm confused. I would think Baylor be around what? The 6th seed maybe? The 5-6 seed? And that
overall?
Yeah. And that UConn would be interesting. UConn would be the 1 seed? So basically, Baylor UConn would not meet in their little quadrant, right?
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to snake it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be snake draft.
It's supposed to be. I mean, good for TV, right?
Great for TV.
It should be better for
Baylor
TV.
And UConn playing.
And no Gino.
No Gino.
COVID-19 Gino. What are you gonna do about that, huh?
COVID Gino.
We'll see how big a factor that plays. I mean, that's a big deal not to have your head coach there. I mean, that sounds like an obvious statement. That is a huge deal, especially for a guy like Gino Auriemma. To not have him on the floor in the biggest time of the season?
Yeah.
No Gino?
Although their assistant coach is 10-0 when filling in for Gino Auriemma.
I think you and I could be 10-0 filling in for Gino Auriemma for UConn basketball. Oh, yeah.
I think we could do that?
What do you think? What are the scores? What's the average margin of victory for UConn? Do we know? It's got to be close to 20. It's got to be close to 20. I mean, you just let a horse run.
But so is Baylor's.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I really think Baylor's going to run the table, but I think having no Gino could be the differentiator.
All right, we got G-Dub on the Impact Health Labs caller line. G-Dub.
I like said we had Gino. I was like, no way he's calling in right now.
Already. Gino's calling in.
No
G-Dub, what's going on, man?
What's up? Hey, yeah, I'm feeling like Baylor got a little slighted. I felt like they could have been I felt they could have been in a different region and been fine, but with UConn in this region, it's not. Well, I say region, but they're all in the same spot, so I just feel like they got a little slighted.
G-Dub, Baylor or the field?
I got to go with Baylor because we got that wager going on.
That's true. That's true.
That's also true. You got the dash thing. G-Dub, do you feel like Baylor makes it all the way to Gonzaga? I mean, they're going to have to get through a team like either Michigan or Tennessee.
Yeah, without Isaiah Livers, Michigan doesn't worry me as much. And then Tennessee, I've watched them a couple times, and they don't really scare me either because they're so inconsistent.
Streaky.
So, G-Dub, when you look at the men's bracket, top to bottom, I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Is there anything else that's standing out more to you today?
I feel like Virginia Tech's got a little bit more of a shot now that I look at it.
I don't hate that. I actually don't hate that pick. I think Virginia Tech could be dangerous. I think it's going to be a team like that, like a Maryland or a Virginia Tech or somebody that just comes out of nowhere and you're like, you weren't supposed to win a game. What are you doing in the Final Four? Yeah. And they're just kind of there. This seems like maybe that season. What if that's this year, like Butler, UConn. Some of those teams that just weren't supposed to be that good and they just kind of were. What if UConn does that again? What if UConn – I have UConn losing, I think, round 1.
Yeah, I don't have UConn getting out of that first game either.
But I think
Maryland is too good.
Some people love UConn. Some people love UConn. G-Dub, what you got for us today?
I've got to get y'all's opinion. How are y'all feeling about seeing like all the strength and condition, like the strength videos that they're putting out from winter workout, like spring workouts, and how do y'all feel like we're going to be? I know we're going to be stronger, but how do you think we're going to end up being on the field?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. Winter workouts, especially the videos, are sort of about hype, right? Like you go through the whole winter session, and the whole point of a winter session is two things: one, to build mental toughness, and two, to get some core strength. And when I say core strength, I mean like in core lifts, your bench, your squat, your cleans. So those things are important, obviously, but a lot of that changes by the time you get to spring ball. So, will we be having Gavin Holmes benching 405 by the time he has game 1? I don't know. But all those things considered, I think mentally, That's really encouraging to see them moving that kind of weight and to see that they have that kind of tempo in their weight room. This is an energy that I don't think we've seen in previous hype videos or previous inside looks into the Baylor weight room. So I'm really excited. I'm encouraged. How much it'll translate to the field right off the bat, I don't know. But I think all in all, winter workouts are doing what they're supposed to do.
It's because they hired Zach. It's because Vic Valorio brought Zach onto the strength staff.
It was a bidding war between us and him. We said, we'll pay you nothing. He said, Dave Wren said, I'll pay you nothing. He said, all right, Dave.
He went with Dave. Zach went with Dave. Yeah, G-Dub, I don't know if it'll translate yet necessarily, especially with the questions on the offensive line. Those are the guys that got to really beef up and get stronger. And you want just a unit there. I think Jeff Grimes and Eric Mateos are going to try to do that. But I don't really feed into it. I know JD can speak much better this than I can on hype videos and whatnot. But I try not to feed into that. I try not to look at that and go like, yeah, we're going to be good next year now, because, every school in the country is doing those videos. So I think it's just that we don't know yet,
Yeah. And Drake, I've got a question for you. If Baylor could play Arkansas in one sport minus basketball, what would it be?
I would love to see
for a national championship, everything on the line.
Whoa.
Everything on the line, national championship. I would love to see that in part of me wants to say a sport that I don't watch frequently so that I don't care as much, so that I'm not just tied to it. Women's basketball would be good. I would probably say, man, I just think the luster of seeing those two teams play in football, and then I can't really lose, but I also I can't win,
True.
So but man, there's just something about a football national championship, no matter who you are, that's the one. That's the granddaddy of them all.
That's a good answer. That's a really good answer.
Oh, yeah, of course.
G-Dub, Bear Games.
You're going to go there.
Bear Games question of the day today. What's the one that I like the one that you sent today. What was that?
Yeah, let's go with this. Are you in or out on the March Madness one shining moment curse?
Now, here's the deal. I feel like Armstrong's got to do it. So that if we end up facing North Carolina, he's got to wear a North Carolina T-shirt and play it so it curses them instead of Baylor.
Self-hex. I like the way you're thinking, G-Dub.
The reverse curse.
So I'm hearing you are in on the one shining moment curse being legitimate. If we're sacrificing Armstrong.
If we can curse the other team, yes.
What if it curses us though? Because it is a Baylor-centric show.
Then I'm out on it. Nope.
Okay.
Then I did just see where Jared Butler was voted an AP All-American. So.
Wow. Breaking
there we go.
On tempo. G-Dub, thanks for your call.
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's always a good call. I'm glad he started calling in too. He was just a Twitter presence, and now he's calling in, contributing to the conversation.
Now he's real life.
Now he's a real person.
I wonder how them wearing a UNC shirt and listening to it would work.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm curious to know the intricacies of this curse.
Yeah. What if we put it on what if we did it like how they do for NASA? Like we tried on an animal first. Like we give an animal a North Carolina jersey
and then put him in a room
and just play one shining moment on repeat for him and see if that team wins or loses
until the animal dies. And then if the animal dies,
I could just wear a North Carolina shirt on the show and listen to it on the show and headphones.
So we're going high stakes.
I also really don't want to be like on the show in a North Carolina shirt,
Yeah, and I
before we play them.
I want to listen to it too. I really want to listen to it.
You cannot.
What kind of cold is this?
For how long?
Until Baylor loses or cuts down the nets.
So 3 weeks. I can't listen.
What
to
if they lose
moment.
and cut down the nets?
Yeah. What if they get knocked out in the round of 32 and they're like,
so we're cutting these down.
We're taking them.
If we can't play with nets, no one can play with nets. We're cutting these things down. Scott Drew's out there with a chainsaw.
This is my net. This is my net now.
No nets, no capes.
No capes.
That's a new scenario.
All right, here's what we got. I'm Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong, Sims, Cole. When we come back, we're breaking down more of the NCAA Tournament March Madness on the men's side. We get a little more women's action here, and we're doing Dead or Alive today. This is Up Tempo. Bing, bing, bing.
The Lady Bears are going dancing, and for the 9th straight season, Kim Mulkey's squad enters the postseason as a 2-seed or higher, as Baylor has clinched the 2-seed in the Riverwalk region. The team will meet 15-seed Jackson State in round 1 and face the winner of Virginia Tech and Marquette in round 2. UConn, Kentucky, and Tennessee also make up the powerhouse teams in Baylor's quadrant. The game will be played on Sunday at 3 p.m. And also on the women's side, Gino Auriemma has tested positive for COVID-19 and will be delayed in traveling to San Antonio. On the men's side, 6 referees have been sent home from the bubble in Indianapolis due to a positive test in contact tracing. Reports state that John Higgins is included in the group. Elsewhere, Indiana fired head basketball coach Archie Miller yesterday, with Iowa State following suit soon after to let go of Steve Prohm after a dismal 2-22 season. Minnesota also fired their head man as Richard Pitino will no longer walk the sidelines after 8 seasons with the Golden Gophers. And Kansas State's Antonio Gordon has announced that he will be transferring from the basketball team to play his junior season elsewhere. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Kerr has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Kerr, he has the truck for you. Kerr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Kerr, they have the truck for you.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Well, let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
Welcome back to the Pickell Low T Bears Den. Drake Toll Armstrong Sims, J.D. Pickell, Grayson Greendaver's in here, Cole's here. Baylor Lady Bears, round 1, Jackson State. The winner plays Virginia Tech and Marquette. The winner of that probably plays Tennessee. Either Tennessee or Michigan, one could assume. On the other side of that, Kentucky, Iowa, Syracuse, UConn highlight the top side of the Riverwalk region. Very interestingly named.
Lots going on.
Regions.
How do they decide what to name the regions? Like, do those change every
San Antonio
year?
landmarks.
Yeah, they have to, right? So they have to change every year probably, huh? What if they had in Waco?
Typically it's north, south, east, west.
The Fixer-Upper region.
Or is it north, south, northeast?
The Magnolia region.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Pepper region.
Dr. Pepper region.
And Uptempo region.
Uptempo.
It's not north, south, east, west, though. It's like southwest and Midwest.
Yeah.
Interesting. See,
So
the nuances.
The rankings ended up being number 1 Stanford, 2 UConn, 3 A&M, 4 South Carolina, 5 NC State, 6 Maryland, and then 7 the Lady Bears, Baylor Lady Bears. So that's how they got matched with number 2 UConn. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Peculiar.
It just does not make sense to me. Baylor plays UConn then in the Elite 8. The winner of that one obviously goes to the Final Four. So that bracket is set. Elsewhere around the women's bracket, there are a couple other highlights. 5 Big 12 teams made the women's bracket, which was surprising to me a little bit. I didn't necessarily expect there to be that many Big 12 teams in this thing. South Carolina is a 1 seed in the Hemisphere bracket. Stanford's the 1 seed in the Alamo bracket. Again, UConn in the Riverwalk. Mercado region, North Carolina State. NC State is the 1 seed. Looking for Iowa State, it's a 7 seed against Michigan State in round 1. That is in the Mercado bracket. Don't see any Big 12 teams in Baylor, so gosh dang it. Oklahoma State in the Alamo bracket as an 8 seed. Hey, Arkansas got in there as a 4 seed.
There you go.
In the Alamo bracket. Woo pig, huh?
Yeah.
And then West Virginia's a 4 seed in the Hemisphere bracket. West Virginia's good at basketball. Texas is a 6 seed there too. So
the whole Big 12's so good at basketball.
Couple Big 12
Men's
teams
and
that poke their
women's are
way
just
into
running
the.
things.
Also, did I tell you we're doing a new bracket coming up?
No, what is it?
Disney Pixar movies.
Oh, that'll be good.
30
That's gonna ruffle some feathers. We're gonna get
32
people
team
mad at
bracket.
us.
I know.
People are gonna get mad for sure.
So is it Disney Pixar movies? There aren't 32 of those.
Yeah, there's 32 Pixar movies. Found a
There's
bracket.
definitely not 32 Pixar movies.
Yeah.
I know that for an absolute fact.
How many are there? Do we know?
Ratatouille, Toy Story 3, Brave, Up, Coco, Inside Out, Monsters University,
Do not
Dory,
read all
Wall-E,
32 of
Toy
them
Story,
right now.
A Bug's Life, Monsters
There's not
Inc.
32 of these
Do not
things.
read all 32
There's
of these.
you're right.
They've
You're
been
right.
making movies since like 96. They come out with like one a year
True.
maybe.
There's
not
34.
32 of them.
Oh, wait a second. Is Lilo and Stitch? That's not Pixar.
No.
Okay, so one side's
Are you gonna
Pixar,
do-
one side's Disney. And they meet in the championship.
Okay.
Interesting.
Which makes it a lot I think Pixar is much better than Disney.
We might have to take a look at these
They're
brackets.
different. They're different.
They're different. Definitely different movies.
There's 23 Pixar movies.
23.
Interesting.
Wow. So we have the top 16 of those on one side and the top 16 Disney movies on the other side. So that's going to happen tomorrow.
Cars 2 all the way, baby.
Wow. I don't even know if they're a 1 seed.
They're probably not even.
I think they were.
They might not even make the top 16 out of
committee,
23.
they were a last 4 in.
Yeah, it's like
they were a last 4 in according to the committee.
Commonly known as one of the worst movies of all time. Disney movies of all time.
It's a mistake.
I think y'all are.
It's actually really good.
I think there's probably too much of either way on both of y'all's take. In my opinion, I don't know if it's the worst movie ever, but I don't know if it's number 1 Pixar.
It's not number 1 Pixar for sure, but it's top 10.
Also,
I couldn't even name 10.
We've got Gonzaga's Corey Kispert, Baylor's Jared Butler, named AP All-Americans, joined on first team by unanimous pick Luca Garza, Ayo Dosunmu, and Illinois' of Illinois, and then Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
So Cade Cunningham, a first team All-American.
There
AP
it is.
first team All-American.
There it is. Two of those 5 from the Big 12. Dude, the Big 12 does basketball. The Big 12 does, but I don't know if I ever realized that prior to these last 2 years that how good of basketball the Big 12 was. It's actually unbelievable.
Big 12 does it.
They do it, and they do it big. They do it Big 12.
NCAA tournament bracket, Baylor and Hartford. 1 seed and a 16 seed taking place on Friday at 2:30. They've announced the folks that are announcing that game. They've announced the announcers for that game.
Who is it?
It's one of the women. I think I retweeted it. One of the women is in there. And then, so it's Lisa Byington, Steve Smith is the analyst. And then AJ Ross.
Okay.
Turn off my mic.
There it is. How did we not get that game? I'm so confused. Did we not put in for that game?
No, I sent them an email and they didn't respond.
Well, that's just,
we almost had it.
Let's boycott the tournament.
So Lisa Byington is play-by-play, Steve Smith is analyst, and then AJ Ross is the sideline reporter for the broadcast crew. Guess what TV channel it's on?
True.
True TV.
True Television.
Why does that happen?
I think they're under CBS, aren't they?
Right.
They're under CBS,
but
so
also,
just during tournament time.
Why don't they rename True TV? Because it just, at this point, there's no salvaging the fact that you're like, True TV.
Well, I think they do other shows on it, right? Like they don't typically have basketball. I think it's just the.
But
madness.
how commonly is True TV watched?
Dude, I personally don't have a lot of True TV shows that I like.
No.
I couldn't even name any True TV shows that I like.
This is the one time of year that True TV will play on my television.
You got to get some shine, baby.
And even then, I'm gonna do it on. It's all online. You know, I'm not gonna get cable for this.
I couldn't find it on any of the streams. Any of the streams, I couldn't find any college basketball this year.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
When you talk about online, you're talking about like legitimate websites? You're talking about
websites
I'm talking
that
about
stream
other
websites.
stuff. Oh, okay.
Not streamies.
Like if you wanted to stream an MMA fight and potentially.
Yeah, I can hook you up with that. I can hook you up with my stream guy. So that's at 2:30 against Hartford. We heard from the Hartford head coach yesterday. That was neat. On the afternoon show, and kind of a little bit about their program and their school. First time to ever go to the NCAA tournament. They're going dancing, these folks. 4 seed out of the American East, and now they got Baylor round 1. You got to know their practices. What are they doing in practice to prepare for Baylor?
Probably just a lot of threes, right? Just got to practice a lot of three-pointers because that's the only way you get a shot in March. If you're one of those little guys to shoot well from beyond the arc. Also, what do you think the interview was like with the 3 to 6 guys? Hey, you're playing Baylor, so that'll be fun.
It's like the guy
that'll be good for you guys.
I said, Armstrong, remember the guy that got a call from Jesus? Where he was like, hold on. It was the guy that was playing Kentucky. It was Hampton, round 1. Hampton, Kentucky, the year Kentucky was like 36-0 going into the tournament. And they were like, Coach, like, what do you do to win this game or whatever? And they were like, what do you need? And he was like, hello? Oh, Jesus? Yeah, no, I know you've been working out. Now you can't play. Before you can't play.
That's funny.
Yeah, like, can you help us?
What a blow to morale if you're on that team, though. You're just Coach, like, our starting 5, you don't think we can win? We need Jesus.
But that was back in the day when a 16 beating a 1 was impossible.
Yeah, I mean, still, it's pretty close to impossible. That myth's been busted one time.
Right, it won't happen again for another 30 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty much thinking Baylor. You said 26.5 is the line? That was the line against Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
It was like close. I think it might even higher than that. It was 27 against Kansas State. So, good luck, Hartford.
Good luck, Hartford.
It's gonna be a long day. Enjoy the hotel room, though.
That's my message to Hartford.
It's
gonna be nice. You guys can get to go dancing, and get to go to Indianapolis.
A lot of T-shirts.
After that, though, North Carolina, Wisconsin. Here's the deal. Somebody made the case. They're like, hey, it's always better in March to have guards than it is post play. You agree with that?
I would agree with that just from a shooting. Like going back to that whole argument with like if you shoot well, you have a chance to make a run. And big men, I feel like you run into any team. Like if your bread and butter is the post play, you're going to run into a team that can shut that down. So I think guard play just does more for you from a passing perspective, a shooting perspective. Like there's more versatility, and you can adapt on the fly if they take away option 1. Because if they take away option 1 in the post, what do you have? You can't go to the mid-range jumper. You can't go to your baseline play. It has to be all in the post if your bread and butter is the big man. So I would agree with that. I think that's why we see so many of these little teams make a run is because they have guards that can. I mean, we saw it with Yale a couple of years ago. Mekhi Mason went absolutely off against Baylor and got it done in that sense. So I think the guard play in March is the way you want to go.
I got a video here, Armstrong. I'm going to send it to the chat real quick. If we can watch this. And I right before we play Dead or Alive, we got a caller on the line that's going to play Dead or Alive with us. They're anonymous.
Okay.
One can only imagine who this might be. But do you have that? Do you have that clip, Armstrong? I'm sorry, no, I kind of sprung that on you.
Oh, that one you sent 2 seconds ago. Give me
Bigfoot.
Yeah, Berlin Bigfoot. But yeah, this right here is this. They CC'd Old Takes Exposed on this.
Is it Virginia Tech?
This is from Virginia Tech men's basketball. This is bad. This is bad.
They got everybody on this one. This is such a petty thing to do.
Yeah, thanks for doubting us, you big doubters.
They better win a game in the tournament now.
Can you turn that up a little bit? Yeah.
Copyrighted music.
Oh,
y'all know what song it is?
That's a Drake song, isn't it?
Drake song. God's Plan.
Okay, so yeah, there are more words that come up here. Not many people expected much from us. Some barely expected anything at all. Don't worry. Hokie, let's go Hokies. Incredibly bad takes.
They went after everybody.
Predicted order of finish. I mean, yeah. So basically, this is a "We Told You So" video from Virginia Tech, who is a 10 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, this is really confusing to me.
I get it. They were picked to be 13 or something like that in the ACC, but this just feels very petty and I don't know. It'd be cooler if they won a few games in the tournament and then put this out. Also, why do they directly go at guys whose job it is to directly give their opinion on these teams? Like they're saying you did your job, and given the information given, you didn't pick us. So in your face. I don't like this. Yeah. This is very tacky to me.
And I could get how Baylor could do something like this, because Baylor's one of those schools that every year people are like, yeah, Baylor's gonna stink.
Yeah.
But this, okay, you're a 10 seed. If you had won, if Virginia Tech had gone out and won 20 games this season, gone 20-5, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This checks out.
Even won the ACC tournament. If they had won the ACC tournament.
Yeah, nope.
More grounds for it.
Nothing. All right, we got a call on the line to play Dead or Alive today. Anonymous caller, you're on with Up-Tempo.
Hello?
Yes.
Double R Burgers.
Yes.
It's been a Bigfoot. Double B's on the phone. Time caller. Been a long time listener. And I'm really excited that I get to play Dead or Alive with y'all today.
All right, Bigfoot. If you win Dead or Alive, I'll have Armstrong Sims meet you in the woods with another T-shirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is awesome. All right, cue the music and Dead or Alive. Number 1. Christine Cavanaugh. She played the character Dexter in Dexter's Laboratory.
I'm going to say she's alive.
We have alive. Armstrong?
Alive.
Bigfoot?
Yeah. Definitely a goner. She's definitely dead.
She is very dead. 57 years old. 57
Dead.
she would have been today. Christine Cavanaugh. She played Dexter in Dexter's Laboratory.
So she died pretty young.
She died young. If I die young. Nicole Jaffe. She played Daphne in the original black and white Scooby-Doo. Not black and white, but original
the
cartoon.
OG Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, the OG Scooby-Doo.
I'm gonna say she's alive.
Dead.
Bigfoot?
She's dead for sure.
Oh, well, you guys just killed her off because she's alive.
There we go.
79.
There we go, Daff.
79 years old. Don Messick, who played Scoobert Doo. He was the voice of Scooby-Doo in that same original cartoon. Don Messick.
What is with these Scooby-Doo original cartoon actors?
I'm gonna say Don Messick. I'm gonna say Don Messick is alive.
Alive. I say alive.
All right, Bigfoot.
I'm going to stay alive because the other day we met up for lunch, so he better still be alive.
Well, you met a carcass. He is dead at 94.
No.
He would have been 94.
Someone just sees me. I can't believe it.
Jimmy Dean, dead or alive. He's saying Big John, Big Bad John.
Jimmy Dean sausage?
Nope.
Yeah, the sausage guy.
Is it actually?
No.
I don't know. Maybe.
John.
Jimmy Dean isn't James Dean?
Big John. It actually might be.
James
that's
Dean.
I'm
true.
going to say dead then.
Yeah, I'm going to say dead as well.
It's not James Dean. Bigfoot, dead or alive?
Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean could be James Dean.
Big bad.
Big time dead.
Big time dead.
He is big time dead. 91 years old. Bob Woodward. He wrote the article that exposed Watergate, the Watergate scandal.
Yeah, I'm going to say alive.
Alive?
Ooh, I was going to say dead.
Dead?
No way you get to walk around after exposing something like that.
Bigfoot?
I'm going to say it's alive.
He's alive. 77 years old. Bob Woodward.
Hey, Bob.
Don LaFontaine. Don LaFontaine. He's the guy that was the voice of those previews. In a World.
Ooh.
That guy.
Wow. I'm going to say
alive.
I'm going to say he's alive too.
Okay. Bigfoot?
Be alive.
He is dead at 80.
Wow.
He would have been 80. He died at 68.
Shoot, I kind of wanted him to read a promo for us.
In a World. June Carter Cash, wife of Johnny Cash.
Dead.
Wife?
Mm-hmm.
Dead.
Bigfoot?
I'm dead. I'm a huge Johnny Cash fan. really sad when she died.
Yeah, she did die. I was sad too.
Bigfoot.
And
knows.
if tomorrow all the things are gone, and I've worked for all my life. Lee Greenwood, dead or alive?
Oh, Lee Greenwood.
And I'm proud to be
I'm gonna say
an
dead.
American.
I think he's absolutely alive.
Bigfoot?
I think.
He's one of my favorite songwriters. He's definitely alive.
He is alive.
Ooh, there we go,
78
Lee.
years old today. I think Armstrong and Bigfoot tied for the win.
I think so.
So it looks like your guys are splitting a t-shirt. You guys are splitting a t-shirt.
I'll put half of it in the woods.
Baylor
You get
Bigfoot.
double X and just both wear it together.
Meet me in the woods sometime.
Will do. Will do. Thanks for the
Bigfoot,
invite.
thanks for your call. Is he going to say he's out?
I don't
Bigfoot?
know. I have no idea.
It's like a drop.
I think he's
There it
There
is.
you go.
He's
That's pretty
just
good.
screaming.
Worth the wait.
All right, I'm Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong, Sims, Cole's in
the
here.
wait.
Grayson Grundafer joins the show at 12:30 to do the big board, La Big Borda. And right now, 12:05, Morgan Huber comes on to talk Big 12 basketball in the NCAA tournament. This is Up Tempo.
The Lady Bears are going dancing. And for the 9th straight season, Kim Mulkey's squad enters the postseason as a 2-seed or higher, as Baylor has clinched the 2-seed in the Riverwalk region. The team will meet 15-seed Jackson State in round 1 and face the winner of Virginia Tech and Marquette in round 2. UConn, Kentucky, and Tennessee also make up the powerhouse teams in Baylor's quadrant. The game will be played on Sunday at 3 p.m. And also on the women's side, Gino Auriemma has tested positive for COVID-19 and will be delayed in traveling to San Antonio. On the men's side, 6 referees have been sent home from the bubble in Indianapolis due to a positive test and contact tracing. Reports state that John Higgins is included in the group. Elsewhere, Indiana fired head basketball coach Archie Miller yesterday, with Iowa State following suit soon after to let go of Steve Prohm after a dismal 2-22 season. Minnesota also fired their head man as Richard Pitino will no longer walk the sidelines after 8 seasons with the Golden Gophers. And Kansas State's Antonio Gordon has announced that he will be transferring from the basketball team to play his junior season elsewhere. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could. During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84, and no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Allen Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco
Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrapped fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrapped fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
I got breaking news here. We got Western Athletic Conference just announced they're adding several schools.
The WAC.
The WAC.
Okay.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
I think Coach Gundy would be like my guy that I would just a hair. Yeah. I just want to be able to see it flow when I kind of slam his arm down.
Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome back in the Petticoat Low T Bears Den. I'm Drake Toll alongside Armstrong Sims. Cole's in here. Grayson's in here as well. Morgan Uber joins the show now on Up Tempo, talking all things college basketball from the Big 12 as the NCAA tournament gets underway. Back here on a Tuesday, Super Tuesday. Morgan, thanks for coming on the show as always.
Drake, great to see you. Great to chat with you, especially after an exciting week in Kansas City. I'm sure we've got a lot to get to, but, March Madness has officially begun, and it's the best time of the year in college basketball and really college sports in general.
How about it, Morgan? That's a change of scenery for you. That's a little bit different than what we've seen you in the past couple weeks there, back in your abode.
Yeah, I'm home after 8 days on the road. It was, I think the Big 12, a huge credit to all of my colleagues for just putting on really a first-class event, also along with the T-Mobile Center, and really, keeping it as a safe environment for all of our student athletes. And unfortunately, the situation with Kansas was heartbreaking. But, all in all, to have 17 of our 18 games played between the men's and women's championships, I think it was just a tremendous job, but certainly happy to be home and out of the bubble and able to go out to restaurants again. It was pretty freeing on Sunday night, finally being able to get out and not just be locked in the hotel room for hours on end when we weren't at the arenas. But definitely glad to be home, and I'll be watching, all of the NCAA tournament from here in Dallas, covering it here remotely. So I will not be traveling at all to either site.
How about I forgot to you might. Can you guys hear that too? Perfect, it's fixed now. Morgan, how about the Big 12 and the entire tournament, the success of putting the tournament on, even though Kansas had their lapse with COVID? When you think about the conferences that didn't think it was possible to even play basketball this year, much less do a tournament where you bring all the teams together, and the Big 12 was able to pull it off. I mean, I just want to know, what was that experience like from a safety standpoint in Kansas City? Did it feel like everything was just really on lock to keep things as safe as possible?
Definitely. I think the whole point of what we did here at the Big 12 and, the conferences also around the country was to really have this as a test run, if you will, for what our student athletes and coaches are going to be experiencing right now in the bubble. So, every day we were tested, we woke up and immediately went downstairs to get tested. So, really happy to not have to be going through that every day here being back at home. But again, there were these devices that were for contact tracing. So everyone in the bubble had to wear these devices on both the men's and women's sides. They had, the men's teams were at the Marriott there in Kansas City. All of the women's teams were at the Lowe's Hotel. So they even had them broken up. And so, yeah, all around, I think it was just a great job. And by judging from what I've seen from some of the players, the meals that they're serving up there in Indy, I would say the Big 12, we probably had some better food as well. So can't complain
complain about that, although I didn't get out to any of my Kansas City barbecue spots. So that was unfortunate, but hopefully next year. But really, Drake, it was just an all-around great event. I felt very safe being there in Kansas City. I really hope that, we as a conference did a great job in making our programs feel that way as well. And, certainly, again, looking at what happened to Kansas, this was before the tournament had started, and, losing David McCormick and Tristan and Aruna, big pieces to their success. But obviously we saw them do it without those two, and it sounds like they're going to be, ready to go here in Indy. But the Jayhawks will be without Jalen Wilson. So, just all around really great event, and really hoping that, the health of all the student athletes from all the conferences, are okay there in the bubble. And, I think the NCAA is doing a great job there as well.
Morgan, how about this? With, what was it? Was it 16 games the conference ended up getting in?
So it was 17 of 18. 17 of 18, yes.
17 of 18 games. So you covering 17 games, I would assume pretty worn out by the end of that.
I'll be honest, it was probably the most exhausted that I've ever felt in my life, but I will say it was like the adrenaline of being there really carried me through, especially having been there last year at the championships when, everything was shut down, the world stopped, and just made me really grateful to be back and have the opportunity. My role was a little bit different this year. Instead of, doing interviews with our student athletes and hosting a show due to, the COVID protocols, I ended up just, running our social media. But it was a blast. I had a lot of fun with it. I hope, all of the fans from afar enjoyed the content that we were able to put out this week. And just all around, it was a good time for me. And, I mentioned having, being trapped in the hotel room, but to be honest, it was really just from like 1 a.m. to maybe 9 a.m. every day. So it was really just when I was sleeping, was I really in the hotel room. So most of the time, I was out at the arenas, the Municipal Auditorium, so much great history there. And of course the new, the T-Mobile Center, the renamed, arena. And it was just, it was a great week, and really grateful that we got in a lot of good games. And I know Baylor fans were probably certainly disappointed, but I think if you're looking at the glass half full, on the men's side of things, at least they were able to get some extra days of practice in. Better to lose in the conference tournament than in the NCAA tournament. So I'm sure we'll dive into all that, Drake.
Morgan, kind of the last thing that I want to know about that tournament too, what did it feel like when you walked in for the first time, when you reminisced on a year prior, when everything shut down while you were at the same location?
Yeah, for me last year, I actually found out I hadn't made it over to the arena yet for the Texas Tech matchup. I had been doing a nightly show, and we were actually up till 3:30, 4 in the morning. So I, slept in as much as I could before making it over there. So I found out, in my hotel room last year, the unfortunate news. But being able to walk back in the T-Mobile Center, being back in Kansas City, I mean, it's hard to describe just the emotions that I felt in that moment. And I'm sure so many of our student athletes and coaches felt just so much gratitude to be back there, and really soaked it all in. It was great. For me, it was a lot of the first times I was able to actually interact and meet most of our head coaches in person, since last year was certainly cut short. But I will say it was a little eerie this year, also having that Texas matchup that, we had last year when everything was shut down, certainly kind of brought back a little bit of emotions there. But, it's hard to express the gratitude that I felt to be back there. And, nothing in this world, we can't take anything for granted. And if we've learned one thing in the past year, that's it. And so really it was just soaking it all in, and, really enjoying the experience and all of the great games that we got to see go down in Kansas City. And man, it was an exciting tournament.
Well, Morgan, here we are, following Baylor's loss to Oklahoma State, all the way to the NCAA tournament, where Baylor is a 1 seed against Hartford in round 1. What do you make of that loss to the Cowboys? I mean, does that in any way put Baylor down and out headed to March Madness?
I like to think of it, and I saw the tweet you put out following that loss. I heard what Coach Drew, told Fran Fraschilla, and he said that, I would have rather lost tonight than in the championship game, because guess what? It gives us more time to practice. And I think that's what Baylor, after the COVID pause, the stretch of games that they had to finish out the season with all of the games that they had to make up. And again, they weren't even able to make up all of them. You're not getting to practice. I mean, you're game planning for the next game and just trudging forward. So I think for them to have this extra time to lock in, to just come together as a team again and practice and get back to that connected Baylor team that we saw for the first, 3 months of the season. I think, I know we might have touched on this last week, but, offensively, it does look like they're really firing on all cylinders. I do think it's the defensive end of the floor that in Kansas City against Oklahoma State, they just didn't have answers for Cade Cunningham, the Big 12 Player of the Year, and he really put on a show and showed to us why he's deserving of the #1 pick in the NBA draft. But I think Baylor fans and Baylor Nation should have, don't be too concerned, don't be too worried. I do think Baylor is poised to make a deep run here in this tournament. They are no question a Final Four team, potentially, deserving of a national championship. And I do think it would just be so fitting, for them to win the regular season, lose how they did in the tournament, and for them, potentially to go all the way. It would just be, a tremendous story. And certainly you can't look at that loss to Oklahoma State as, oh man, this season wasn't a success. I mean, they've done so much this season to prove, why they could potentially be the best team in the country. And I think they have a lot left to show, a lot left to prove. And I think this team has a chip on their shoulder and they're ready to make a deep run here.
Morgan, with 7 teams making the field, and it's so odd to me, I believe if Oklahoma would have beaten Kansas, we would likely see all 7 teams as 6 seeds or higher. I really believe that had Oklahoma beaten Kansas in the Big 12 tournament. But what does it mean in general to have that many teams, 70% of this conference, represented in March Madness?
It's the highest percentage of any Division I, highest percentage of any conference in the country, Drake. I mean, it's huge. It's a statement. I know all season long, the national media has talked about the Big Ten being the best conference in the country. But you know what? I'm ready to see it come into fruition and for the Big 12 to show people why we're the best conference in the country. And I think we have a shot of doing that. They got 9, the Big Ten got 9 of their 14 teams in, and we got 7 of 10. So, I do think we have potentially, looking at the bracket, I haven't filled mine out yet, but, looking at it really closely and studying it, I do think that we realistically, the Big 12, could have 3 teams in the Final Four. It's a great thing. And to think too, one of the matchups that I'm potentially excited to see, and I'm so happy that the committee did this. I don't know how happy West Virginia is, but the fact that we could see another Oklahoma State, West Virginia matchup there in the Elite Eight. So, we'll dive into all that, but I do think we've got a lot to show here in the NCAA tournament, and 70% of our teams in is just a tremendous thing.
So, Morgan, let's start right there with Baylor and Hartford. I know you're a big Hartford fan, that you know a lot about Hartford. I guess you came from, it was the Patriot League, am I right?
Yes, the Patriot League.
That's within the realm, relatively, of where Hartford is. Do you know anything about the Hawks?
I'm going to be honest, Drake. I don't.
I don't either.
So, I mean, it's only been done once, right? A 16 seed coming in and swooping up number 1. So, I think Baylor's going to handle this one pretty closely. But, when I was looking at the bracket, looking ahead, I think it's the intriguing matchup is Ohio State Baylor. And, Ohio State, we saw what they did in the Big Ten tournament. So, runner up there to Illinois, took them to overtime. I think the whole world was watching that, waiting for Selection Sunday. So we know Ohio State, they're a great team, and I think they're going to give Baylor a good challenge in that part of the bracket.
So you get that Baylor at the 1 seed out of the South. Then Texas Tech. I mean, we've got the opportunity to possibly see Texas Tech and Baylor meet in the Elite Eight this season, the championship of that regional. I don't think that'll happen, but, it's out there. With Texas Tech playing Utah State round 1, and a lot of people are saying that Utah State's a not a favorite, but a team that people like to upset Tech right there. What do you think about Tech, not just round 1, but their placement as a whole?
Yeah, I think they're the most dangerous 6 seed in this entire thing. Looking at Utah State and I did do a little bit of research on them. Nemias Keita, I mean, he's a traditional big, a traditional center, 7 feet tall. It came from Portugal here to the United States. He does everything. He's their leading scorer, rebounder. He can definitely block some shots. So, to be honest, I think this is going to be a closer matchup than maybe some expect. I think Utah State could potentially give Texas Tech some trouble. But again, I just think looking across the bracket, they are the most dangerous 6 seed in this tournament. I think no doubt they're a Sweet 16 team, but I think it's going to be a tough out against Ohio State. So I like Texas Tech. What Mac McClung has done this season has been tremendous. He's a lot like Jared Butler, a Cade Cunningham. He has the ability to take over a game late in the game, put his team on his back and do what he has to do to, get the W. And I think big time players make big time plays in big time games. And Mac McClung is, the definition of that. So we'll see what he can do here in the NCAA tournament. I know they were extremely disappointed following that loss to Texas in the Big 12 championship. So I think this team is going to come in hungry. They've got a chip on their shoulder, and they do have the potential to make some noise here in March.
Oklahoma State and Liberty, Morgan. It's another one of those matchups that people are saying, hey, watch out. This could be an upset as well. What do you like in the Oklahoma State and Liberty game?
Yeah, I think, what we've seen from Oklahoma State down the stretch here, I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised that they were a 4 seed, but at the same time, I think the committee did make the right decision because you look at what they were doing earlier in the season. If you take their season as a whole, really, they're probably seated about right. I mean, they got swept by TCU, a team that, finished 8th in the Big 12 this season. And so certainly that didn't help their resume at all. But down the stretch, you can't argue Oklahoma State was, before the Big 12 championship game against Texas, they were the hottest team in the country, no question. So if they can, hopefully, I do think even though they're a young team, head coach Mike Boynton's going to get them to look past, put that in the rearview mirror. The loss in the Big 12 championship game, they have a lot to be proud of. And hopefully they're able to ride out on that kind of momentum and that kind of mindset and move forward. And I think that's what they did there at the end of the season, just taking one game at a time. They looked at it, the final 7 games of the regular season, they really had to win a couple of those at least to get into the NCAA tournament. And they did a heck of a lot more than just win a couple. So, again, they're a young team. I think Avery Anderson has emerged as this, really second leading scorer, which takes a little bit of the pressure off of Cade Cunningham, who no doubt's their best player. But, Caleb Boone has also, in the post been really aggressive and has been great on the glass. So I think Oklahoma State, they as a 4 seed, I think they could make a run all the way to the Final Four, Drake, if they're able to, barring, they might have to pull off a crazy upset, but I think they can do it.
Along with that, West Virginia, right there across the way from Oklahoma State, Morehead State round 1. I haven't heard a lot of talk about this one, but I've seen Morehead State play a couple times this season. I really like the way that they play. I think it's a really good matchup for West Virginia in round 1. With this game and where West Virginia is right now, coming off of another loss against Oklahoma State, how do you see Bob Huggins' team faring?
Again, another hungry team that really wears their heart on their sleeves. They play with the chip on their shoulder, probably more than any team in the Big 12. I think Derek Culver on the glass, he leads the Big 12 in rebounding. I think if he's able to, really be the force that he's been all season, I think they're a dangerous team, and they'll be headed to the Sweet 16 to face Houston. They have their three guards, Taz Sherman, Miles McBride, and Sean McNeil, who on any given night, any of those three can lead the team in scoring. For Sean McNeil, it was a little heartbreaking there, not able to get that three-point shot off in time to beat Oklahoma State in the quarterfinal round. So I do think they're, again, another hungry team. I think just, how things unfolded in the Big 12 tournament for them, they're ready. They're going to be fired up. I don't foresee any sort of crazy upset with a 3-14 matchup here. I expect them to make it to the Sweet 16. They're a dangerous, tough team, and it is crazy to think what they've done and how they've evolved as a team. They go from a defensive-minded team to now really, they win teams. They beat teams through their offense, and they are the second leading team in the Big 12 in scoring offense. So teams are going to have to keep up with West Virginia, and that's been a difficult thing for teams to do even in the Big 12 this season. So I expect them to be there playing Houston in the Sweet 16.
How about Oklahoma? A shot if they sneak past Missouri to face Gonzaga in round 2. And I tell you what, Gonzaga's really, really good at basketball. Obviously, 26-0 this season, but Oklahoma's a senior-laden team. They got a couple of old leaders in Brady Manek and Austin Reeves that really lead this team well. What are the odds that maybe they don't win the game, but they at least give Gonzaga a run for their money in round 2 with the old lineup?
Yeah, well, first I want to start with the Oklahoma-Missouri matchup because I am stoked for that one. I think out of the gates, this is by far the best matchup that we're going to see. You mentioned a veteran team. Missouri is pretty veteran themselves. They're the oldest team in the SEC. I think it's 4 of their starters are seniors or, redshirt seniors. And then they've got Xavier Pinson, who's a junior. So they're old. They're a veteran and experienced team. So first, it's going to be a challenge, I do think, for Oklahoma to get by Missouri. They have Jeremiah Tillman, who, is a dominant big. He's aggressive on the glass. So it's going to be a challenge for the Oklahoma bigs. But should they get by Missouri, and hopefully they do, I think it's going to be a challenge for the Sooners. And, the way that they played in the second half against Kansas, they're going to need to do that times about 10 to pull off the upset against Gonzaga. I think Austin Reeves, this team, they have the capability to do it. They beat Alabama without their best player earlier this season, Austin Reeves, out due to COVID-19 protocols. So, Davion Harmon, the one thing that I noticed in the Big 12 tournament, he didn't look as confident as he had been this season. I think, a few shots didn't fall for him. And after that, he was just really looking to get rid of the ball and not being, aggressive, driving to the basket like we've seen him do this season. So Oklahoma's deep. They're very deep, but I think they need Davion Harmon to get back to really what he's capable of. I think Brady Manek has, got to keep up what he's been doing, both, on the glass and also scoring. And they really just have to get back defensively to what they were doing too earlier on in January. When they knocked off some teams, and we saw them at one point at number 7 in the country. So, they can hang with the best. And I do think, it'll be a good game first in the first round against Oklahoma, Missouri. But should they get by Missouri, I think, again, we could see another close game and a battle-tested Gonzaga who, almost lost to BYU in their conference championship game.
How about one of the ones, another matchup out of the Big 12 that people are really looking at hard? Abilene Christian, 23-4 this season. They've played really well. They played Arkansas pretty well in Fayetteville. And they got Texas in round 1. It's a Texas team coming off of the Big 12 tournament championship. Who'd have thought? The Longhorns, Greg Brown, pulled it off, and now they're a 3 seed going into March Madness. What do you like about this Texas team?
Texas, I think, Drake, they have gotten back to their roots of what they looked like earlier on this year when, everyone in the country was saying this is a Final Four team. Matt Coleman was spectacular in the Big 12 championship game. Another guy who really can just carry his team when they need it. I also think the emergence of Jericho Sims, they're bigs for Texas. They've been great all season. But again, what we saw from him on the glass 14 rebounds in that game. He's going to have to do a whole lot of that in order to make a run here in the NCAA tournament. And I have Texas as a Final Four team. I do think that they have the capability with their athleticism. They have these senior veteran leaders in Andrew Jones and Courtney Ramey and Matt Coleman and Jericho Sims, who have seen a lot of things. And before the season even started, with the challenges of COVID, that was the first thing that we all looked at, was the teams that are, older, they're going to have a more successful season because they're going to know how to handle these things. So it was maybe a little bit shocking to a lot of us to see Oklahoma State, come up the way they did. But, getting back to Texas, I think the one thing that's really interesting in this first matchup against Abilene Christian, you can't sleep on them because they're number 1 in the country right now in turnover margin. Yeah. So for Texas, they're going to have to take care of the basketball and they're going to have to be smart. But right now, Shaka Smart has his team playing, the best that they've really played all season. And if there's 2 words to describe Texas, it's the connectedness and their chemistry. And they showed that. It was so clear in the Big 12 championship game. So Texas is, again, like so many of our teams, they're poised to make a run here.
Morgan, I tell you what, a week from right now, a week from this moment, we will have the Sweet 16 locked in next time you're on the show, and maybe, just maybe, there'll be 7 Big 12 teams there. I don't know about all 7, but there's a good shot to get 5 or 6 in that pool. Before we let you get out of here, though, I got 2 more questions for you. Question 1, out of the Patriot League, Colgate, round 1 against Arkansas. I'm sure you've got a little experience being around the old toothpaste, right?
I'm so glad you asked me about this, Drake, because if there's one matchup outside of the Big 12 that I'm most excited for, it's got to be Colgate against Arkansas. 2 years ago, they gave Tennessee a run in the NCAA tournament, and they are back and better than they were back then. When you look at their stats, they're number 2 in scoring in the entire, Division I, and they're behind Gonzaga and just ahead of Baylor. So, Colgate is a dangerous team. Seth Davis, I believe, we all heard him on Selection Sunday saying he chose them as an upset there against Arkansas. Arkansas also a team that can score and put up some numbers, but Colgate, when they get hot from the 3, it is unbelievable. Jordan Burns is my player to watch. Everyone should be looking out for him. He's the primary ball handler for Colgate. But what head coach Matt Langel has done up there in Hamilton, New York, just a tremendous job, and I'm really excited for that one. So really glad you asked me.
And then Morgan, who is your Cinderella for this tournament? Which team, I should say, which team is going to be really tricky for the powerhouses?
Gosh, inside the Big 12 or out?
Give me outside of the Big 12. Give me one of each, if you will. Which team's going to surprise?
Ooh, okay. I think inside the Big 12, I think we have to look to Oklahoma State. I think, being seated at 4, those guys probably felt like they should have been ranked ahead of West Virginia, being that they did beat them 3 times this season. So, I think for Oklahoma State, they've got Cade Cunningham. They, have a lot of pieces around him that can certainly, potentially, make a good run here. So Oklahoma State is my dark horse in the NCAA tournament this year inside the Big 12. And if we had to go outside, let's see here. I'm looking at the bracket. I hadn't thought too much about it. You know what? I've got to go with Tennessee. I think Tennessee seated as a 5. What they did in the SEC, what they did against Kansas, we saw it firsthand in the Big 12. When they're going, I mean, this is a tremendous team. But again, they've just had these ebbs and flows similar to a Missouri in the SEC, where when they get hot at the right time, they're rolling. But they kind of dropped off there toward the end of the season. So I think Tennessee is my dark horse outside of Big 12 play.
I love it. Morgan Uber, thanks so much for coming on Up Tempo today and talking all things college basketball in and around the Big 12 going into March Madness. Always a pleasure to have you.
Drake, thanks so much. Excited to talk with you next week.
I will see you again with the Sweet 16. Again, that was Morgan Uber, Big 12 digital correspondent. When we come back, not only is it March Madness, not only does this week have the madness of college basketball on the grandest stage, but it also has football. That's right. that one word, that 2-syllable word that seems so distant. Well, it's here. It's back. And Baylor is starting spring practice. Grayson Grundaver joins us up next for the big board. I'm Drake Toll. Armstrong Sims Cole. Grayson's right there. He's coming on. This is Up Tempo.
The Lady Bears are going dancing. And for the 9th straight season, Kim Mulkey's squad enters the postseason as a 2-seed or higher, as Baylor has clinched the 2-seed in the Riverwalk region. The team will meet 15-seed Jackson State in round 1 and face the winner of Virginia Tech and Marquette in round 2. UConn, Kentucky, and Tennessee also make up the powerhouse teams in Baylor's quadrant. The game will be played on Sunday at 3 p.m. And also on the women's side, Gino Auriemma has tested positive for COVID-19 and will be delayed in traveling to San Antonio. On the men's side, 6 referees have been sent home from the bubble in Indianapolis due to a positive test and contact tracing. Reports state that John Higgins is included in the group. Elsewhere, Indiana fired head basketball coach Archie Miller yesterday, with Iowa State following suit soon after to let go of Steve Prohm after a dismal 2-22 season. Minnesota also fired their head man as Richard Pitino will no longer walk the sidelines after 8 seasons with the Golden Gophers. And Kansas State's Antonio Gordon has announced that he will be transferring from the basketball team to play his junior season elsewhere. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Bird Culchin Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culchin Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culchin Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new, pre-owned Bird Culchin Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership. Online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culchin Ford.
The holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
No capes. Do you remember Thunderhead? Tall, storm powers. Nice man. Good with kids.
Listen. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Dyna guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No capes.
Here's Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims.
Welcome back in the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Drake Toll, Grayson Grundy for Armstrong Sims. Cole's up in here talking all things big board, Baylor, football, recruiting, and you know we'll get into some March Madness because it's that time of year, but the sun's out. It's warm. It feels like football.
It does. My skin feels like football,
Your
too.
skin is red. Really, really red. How did that happen? Well, the sun, obviously, but...
Yeah, it's a little camp on Sunday.
Little camp.
It was a big camp, and it was 57 degrees when I got out there, and raining. Yeah.
On Sunday morning?
Yeah, Sunday morning.
Was.
57 degrees and raining, and I was like, well, sunscreen. I don't need sunscreen. It's cold, and then... it got a little hot, and then I got burnt. I got roasted. It hurts, too.
And toasted. Wow, that really sucks.
Yeah.
But there were plenty of good things that happened at said tournament to talk about, such as?
Yeah, there were. There were a lot of good things.
Yeah,
at this camp. I mentioned you 67 guys with Baylor offers, 300 guys at the camp. Recruits all over the state, and also like some guys from Louisiana and Oklahoma also came to the camp because it's the only one in Texas for Under Armour this year. So, yeah, it was fun. Got to see a lot of really, really good prospects that I'm sure we'll dive into here in a little bit. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun to finally feel like there was some normalcy to recruiting. And then same day, or I guess the next day, got the Dennis Dodd report that the dead period might be turning into a quiet period starting June 1st, which is great news as well.
So how about starting with some of the recruits that were at the camp? What were the big names that stood out to you that you really like and that it seems like Baylor really likes?
Yeah, I got to start with Jared Kerr. I've mentioned him a few times, but the Lexington safety prospect is just a stud. I mean, an absolute stud. Makes plays every time I see him play. Had an interception at this camp going one-on-one against Jordan Hudson, who's committed to Oklahoma, another 4- or 5-star type prospect. But Jared Kerr, he just consistently is just a good football player. At Lexington, plays both ways, has piled up the stats over his past 2 seasons. And I think if there was one guy in the class that if I had to say this guy fits Baylor's culture the best, or this guy is really, he just seems like a Baylor guy, that's Jared Kerr. And so they got to figure out a way to land him because a really good kid with really high upside and obviously a very highly rated recruit who I believe would be the highest ranked recruit that they've landed since Art Browse left.
Wow.
If they were able to land him, yeah. I got to think back on it, but I'm pretty sure be him, maybe Tyquan Thornton's up there, but he'd definitely be up there.
So who else? Any other big names that stood out to you, maybe even on the line side of things at the camp or even outside?
Yeah, so let's talk about the offensive line a little bit because there were 4 guys on the offensive line at the camp. I mean, there were tons of guys, but 4 that we really have to talk about because I believe they're the top 4 guys on Baylor's board at this moment. And those 4 are Nicholas Hall out of Austin Aikens, Alvin Ebosela out of Capel, Neto Umeozulu out of Allen, and Bryce Simpson out of Cy Ranch. So all 4 of those guys, very highly touted. Neto's the biggest recruit, biggest name, top 10 player in the state. The other 3 a little bit under-recruited. I believe 2 of them have single-digit offers, Hall and Simpson. Then Alvin, I think, just has 11. I think he just got to 11. If they can land 3 of those 4, this staff is going to be very happy, and the the trenches for Baylor going to be very happy, and fans going to be very happy. I think that's a very good group of guys. All of them are 6'4 plus. You got Nicholas Hall, who I think is a guy who's probably going to show up at whatever school he goes to at, maybe 6'7", 315 pounds. Which
already,
and that's when he shows up, because right now at his last time he weighed himself and got height, he was 6'6.5", 304 pounds. So a year from now, I think he could be 6'7", 315, which the way he moves, that is not a 3-star prospect. That's just not. I mean, you can't find guys like that throughout the state. I think Alvin, very similar. Has really long arms and a really long frame. He told me he was 295. I think he's probably more like 285, but that's not a bad thing because he carries the weight really well. Great height again. I think he might be close to 6'7" as well. So he's an intriguing one. I think he's the most raw prospect of the group, but that also could mean he has the most upside. So that's the thing with him. Bryce Simpson, love seeing him. First time getting to see him, I was shocked that he was as tall as he was. I thought he was going to be more like 6'3". I think he's a pretty true 6'4". I do believe he probably fits in better at guard, but could play right tackle as well. Another great day for him. I was very impressed, and he's one who's actually visiting this weekend. At least that's what he told me for spring break. He's going to come up, and I think there's a possibility that he could end up being one of the newest commits in the class potentially. He's definitely one I have on commit watch. And then, like I said, Neto's the biggest long shot, but he's also just a stud. He proved to me that he's a top 10 player in the state, might even move up into the top 5, and he's definitely in the top 2 of offensive line prospects in the entire state. So point being, Baylor lands 3 of those 4. I think they might have the best offensive line class in the state. They land all 4. They might be competing with some of the better lines in the entire nation recruiting-wise.
What are the odds, though, when you think about percent chance that Baylor has to land 3 out of those 4 or even 4 of the 4? I mean, is Baylor in the thick of each of those hunts?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest long shot, like I said, is Neto. And I would consider Baylor probably in his top 8, which is pretty good. I mean, with him, you're talking about the biggest names.
Ohio State, Alabama.
Florida State, LSU. I mean, Tennessee, Texas. He's got a big offer list, and he's a guy who really has exploded onto the scene over the past year or so. The other 3, I might be out on a limb here, but I think Baylor's the leader in all 3 of those recruitments. So, I mean, if you land those 3 and then your whole focus is on landing Neto to be the 6th kind of best available type, you're giving yourself a shot.
What are the odds? If all 4 of those go Baylor's way, is that the best offensive line recruiting class in Baylor history?
By far. I don't even know that it's not close.
Oh my
no,
gosh.
like not close at all. Like they wouldn't even be in the same stratosphere recruiting wise. Now, last year's class was very good. But I mean, Neto, landing a guy like Neto, he would be the best recruit Baylor has honestly ever landed, because landing an offensive lineman that is as highly rated as him is very different than landing, a Katie Cannon. You can find a receiver, you can land a receiver every once in a while, but Baylor landing high major offensive lineman, that's really a tough ask. But yeah, I think it would be that would just be a ton of upside on the offensive line, a ton of size coming to Baylor if they're able to seal the deal, which is yet to be determined.
So how about, aside from the offensive line, is there a specific position, especially at the camp, that you saw where you say, okay, Baylor's got a good shot to load up here and load up with solid talent?
Yeah, it was a really good camp, I would say, in the trenches. So the defensive line as well is another area that I definitely took a look at, and I honestly think it was probably the biggest standout area outside of the offensive line from a depth perspective. So I got to see kind of a little bit of a comparison here, which was really cool. So Michael Ibukun Okeodi out of Rowlett, so I got to see him, and I also got to see Derek Brown out of Texas High. And those two kind of are similar to me. Okeodi is a little bit bigger, and I got to see that firsthand. I mean, he is a legit 6'4", 6'5" type prospect. Derek Brown's listed at 6'4". I think he's probably more like 6'3". Michael's a little bit under recruited right now, so I honestly think that's an area where Baylor can take a shot and potentially land him. And Derek Brown, on the other hand, very highly touted, very highly recruited. I didn't really get the flashes that I thought I was going to see from him. He went up against Nick Hall, actually, and Nick won both of those reps against him. So, I mean, I guess all that to say is if Baylor doesn't get Derek Brown, but they land Michael Ibuka and Okeode, I don't think there's a big drop-off there, even though their rankings, would tell a different story. I thought that was just an interesting thing to definitely keep an eye on. As far as other guys up front, I mean, just quickly to get this out of the way, Bear Alexander out of Denton Ryan and Ernest Cooper out of Arlington Martin, studs. I mean, they're top 10 prospects in the state now for me after seeing them in person. Very, very good prospects. Baylor's not in the running for either one. Just need to mention it because they were outstanding. Some other guys Baylor has their eye on for sure. Chris McClellan, he got a USC offer today. He's out of Oklahoma. Owasso, Oklahoma, actually, and he really looked good. Great size. I think he's going to be one that Baylor's going to be recruiting really, really hard up until he makes his decision. So he definitely is a big riser for me from this camp. Also got to see Chris Ross, who's making his decision again in a couple of days because he was supposed to make his decision about a month ago. And he played a little coy with me, so I'm interested to seeing what happens. He mentioned he was going to release something on Twitter, so be on the lookout for that. I think he'll probably be posting maybe another top 4, because originally, remember, it was Baylor, Oklahoma, Texas, and LSU, I believe, were his initial top 4, but I think that may have changed a little bit. Baylor's put themselves in a good position, but I will say I didn't get amazing vibes that it's going to end up going in Baylor's favor, which is kind of what I told you when he decided to move back his commitment, that it may not be a good thing for the Bears.
How about so with Zach Pyron, who committed to Baylor to play quarterback out of the 2022 class. With that, have you found anything more out about him? Had any more conversation with him or other coaches? Or is there any update on kind of where he is with Baylor, his commitment, and what his commitment means for the program? Yeah, I mean, he is completely locked in. If you follow him on Twitter, it's pretty obvious. I mean, he's talked about how, we're going to make something special at Baylor, and he's been following all the guys Baylor's recruiting. I think he's going to be a really good guy for that purpose. He's been pretty vocal on Twitter. You like to see that because you want to see your quarterback recruit guys. I mean, you just want to see that, him be the leader of the class. He posted a picture, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, with his I think it was an award ceremony. He had his 3 rings on his fingers, which I thought was really cool. Just needs one more to complete the high school sweep there. Also won, I think, an MVP honor as well. So, I think they're in a good position there, and obviously he's very locked in. I will say, as I think Baylor got their guy, which is all that really matters at the end of the day. But, like yesterday or Sunday, I went out and I got to see Nick Evers out of Flower Mound, and he's going to Florida, but Baylor never offered him. He committed to Florida, and he looked really good. And, I haven't gotten to see Pyron in person, which obviously would probably help my impression of him. But it's just interesting that Baylor chose to go outside of the state for a quarterback when a guy like Nick Evers was available. But that just means they love Zach Pyron. I mean, that's literally what it means. And I couldn't be happier with it. If that's their guy, then that's what you want to ride or die with, How about Jake Strong, quarterback out of 2023? I saw your article the other day where you posted about him. One of the top quarterbacks in the state. Tell me a little bit about him. Yeah. So he's definitely going to be a major target for a lot of schools. He's been talking to a bunch. It's just weird for 2023 guys because they can't really have full communication with staffs because coaches can't reach out to them right now. Gotcha. They have to reach out to the coaches. So it kind of provides a little bit of a barrier there, which I don't know. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, but that will change in September when everything will open up
for the 2023 class. But I was impressed with him. I thought he was going to be a little bit taller, but he is a 2023 guy, so he's got time to grow a little bit more. Has a good arm, showed very good accuracy. You can tell that he does have some polish to his game from playing 7-on-7 and also from just going to every camp he possibly can. So you can just tell mechanically he definitely has figured things out and definitely feels very comfortable in that setting. But yeah, his big thing, he's got to grow a little bit. I think he's right around 6 foot, which is fine, but you would like him to be up in that 6'2" range if possible. So yeah, he was fun to watch. I actually mentioned on the Bearcast this morning, the quarterback position was very confusing. Park, Bo Edmondson out of Lake Travis, Bryce Fusick out of Strake Jesuit. There's a lot of guys that are kind of competing for that same spot, but no one has taken it. So really, really curious to see how that plays out. There were also two 2024 quarterbacks that I want to mention. Cole Welliver was the best quarterback prospect at the camp. I compared him to Ryan Mallett, so you would like that.
At the camp,
The camp, yes.
2024.
Okay, besides Nick Evers. Sorry, let me take him out because he's 2022. But besides him, yeah, like Welliver looked really impressive. And I mentioned this morning, he looks like Ryan Mallett.
Mallett's the whole 6'5" bulked.
Yeah, he's 6'6".
6'6",
and he's 2024. Jeez. He's not quite bulked yet, but 6'6", 200 for a freshman.
For a freshman. I'll accept
that. It's a big
that.
kid. So he was there. He was fun to watch. And then Derek Lagway, who is a Baylor legacy, was also there, 2024 out of Willis. So he was fun to see as well. He could be a dual sport guy. He plays baseball and football.
Gotcha. I love the Ryan Mallett comparison.
You like that?
I love that.
Have you seen a picture of this kid?
No,
you need
I
to see a
haven't.
picture of him. You need to look him up because he kind of looks. He doesn't look like Ryan Mallett, but like his frame, that lanky frame is.
What's the name again?
Cole Welliver.
Cole Welliver?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I'm excited. I met Ryan. Listen, Ryan Mallett is a character.
Is he really?
A character.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got the mallet. He's got the mallet build. He's got to bulk up a little bit.
He does.
That's a tall dude. That's a quarterback right there.
That is, yeah.
That's a quarterback. All right. How about this? You've got anything really briefly? Anything in the transfer portal? Anything new?
Nothing in the portal.
Yeah.
It's gone quiet. Yeah. It's gone quiet, waiting for more guys to enter. I did want to mention, though, there is a guy in the area that was at the camp. Actually, two guys. Omari Evans out of Clean Shoemaker, McCall Harrison Pilot out of Temple, and then Trey Wisner out of Connolly.
Yeah.
All three of those guys were there. Impressed with all three. Central Texas showing some talent. I think all three are going to be big-time playmakers. Wisner could be a 5-star type guy.
Seriously?
Potentially. He's got a chance.
Wisner's good. 5-star.
He could be.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who's already got, 13 offers, and they're big. They're not like little offers. They're Ohio State, Florida State, USC, Baylor. I mean, he could blow up to that level. And the camp setting was perfect for him because running one-on-ones against linebackers for Trey Wisner, I mean, it was a touchdown every time he was out there. Not really fair.
How about, all right, spring practice?
Mm-hmm.
That's starting up.
Yes,
We're doing spring football practice. What I want to know, how much of spring practice can we go to?
I'm hoping some. I'm hoping we're able to go some.
They got to let some media in for some of spring practice.
I would hope. Probably going to have to just wait and see. They haven't put out a media schedule yet. Usually they'll highlight them and tell you which ones you can go to and things like that. Haven't gotten that information yet, but I would think that we're going to be allowed to have at least some people there to go to practice. The open window is usually only 15 minutes, but sometimes you get to see some really good stuff, and there's nothing like actually seeing, watching all those strength and conditioning videos. There's a big difference between watching those videos and then seeing players in person.
Right.
And I can't wait for those weights and heights to be updated as well, because they only did that for, I believe, some of the new guys, and that's pretty much it. So
yeah, you love watching those videos with the guy just 315 and just slams it, and you're like, yeah, good job. But then you're like, everybody's posting these videos. When do you get to actually see what they're putting in?
Yeah, and I mean, it's great to see, because if you're moving weight, you're obviously getting stronger. But there's just that difference between, man, I saw this guy as a freshman,
right,
and now look at him. I watched a video today. I think it was Jacob Zeno doing 315 or something on bench press, and I just remember covering his recruitment. The dude looks like a grown man now.
Yeah.
It's just one of those weird things, and you see it with all these guys. Gabe Hall doesn't have his baby face anymore. Chidi doesn't have his baby face anymore. I mean, these guys are turning into just grown men, and that's what you want to see, and that's why they're moving so much weight now.
Growing up so fast.
Yeah, they do. Right before my eyes.
March Madness. So with that, spring practice, though, started up Friday? Is that right? Friday?
22nd. When is
the 22nd? Okay, so we're still about like Monday?
I think it's the 22nd. I believe. I could be wrong,
Looking
and
at
then
Monday?
spring game 24th of April.
Of April. Okay, sweet. So we'll go to that one.
Yeah,
for sure,
that'll be
for sure.
open.
We'll have the same booth.
Oh, hopefully.
Okay. So how about outside of that, March Madness, Match Madness? What did you like out of the bracket? First glance
for Baylor,
for anybody. First glance at the bracket. What just stood out to you?
Oh, how easy Gonzaga's path to the Final Four is.
Yeah.
That stood out. That was the first thing I
honestly
noticed.
am not that like the people that are like, oh, Michigan's got the toughest. I just don't really think so.
Michigan's?
Yeah.
No, I think if Baylor was in Michigan's bracket, people wouldn't be saying that. I think they're saying it because Michigan is the most fraudulent number one seed, and that part of the bracket is going to be utter chaos. I can't wait to. I think there's a bunch of vulnerable teams in that bracket.
Oh, which I think, without a doubt, though, you've hit the nail on the head that Gonzaga is going to walk into the Final Four. I mean, Iowa's fraudulent in my opinion. Outside, they have Luka Garza. I read an article yesterday. It was like it's your classic white boy lineup, and that just doesn't fly in March. It doesn't. Mount St. Mary's tries to do it. It doesn't take you past the Sweet 16. I don't care how good Luka Garza is. They're going to lose in the Sweet 16 or so, maybe Elite Eight.
Or the second round to Oregon.
Right, or the second round. Yeah, literally. I mean, Oregon's so volatile. So many volatile teams for Gonzaga. That's the thing. Gonzaga's the only consistent team in the entire West.
And the only one not dealing with COVID, it feels like.
Also true.
Just talking about Virginia and Kansas.
Also true.
Which is hilarious.
Who are in the same quadrant.
Right. And they've played Iowa, Virginia, and Kansas already this year.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense, and beat them all by double digits. I just don't understand that bracket at all.
Throw them in there. But yeah, I think Baylor could have gotten a lot worse of a shake. I'm worried about a couple of these teams. But also, I wouldn't want to be in Illinois' quadrant. You got West Virginia to deal with. You got Oklahoma State to deal with.
Houston,
Loyola,
is real
Chicago,
good.
Houston. Yeah. I mean, that even the 8th seed, Loyola, Chicago. I don't want that. When I first saw North Carolina, Wisconsin, I was like, okay, this isn't good. I don't like that at all. But also, Oklahoma, Missouri, I'd rather play North Carolina or Wisconsin than I would Oklahoma again. Oklahoma, they're just
they wouldn't
sneaky.
have done that, though.
They wouldn't
have done that.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad we got, in comparison, I'm glad we got North Carolina, Wisconsin over Oklahoma just because you never know. If Brady Manick, Austin Reeves just go off, then you're...
they've played Baylor. That's
Right.
the hard, 1,000%. And I could see I could see them beating North Carolina.
And I'd much rather play either Wisconsin or North Carolina than I would Loyola Chicago, or Georgia Tech. Josh Pastner's a great basketball coach. I want to avoid both. So I think while yes, it's a daunting 8-9, everybody's got an 8-9 that you're like, that's interesting in round 2. So I think Baylor could be in a good spot. But Grayson Gruday for Big Board. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Always love having you. We'll see you again on Thursday. I'm Drake Toll, Grayson Gruday for Cole Armstrong. When we come back to Akira Nugent, NCAA national champion, joins the show. This is Up Tempo.
The Lady Bears are going dancing. And for the 9th straight season, Kim Mulkey's squad enters the postseason as a 2-seed or higher, as Baylor has clinched the 2-seed in the Riverwalk region. The team will meet 15-seed Jackson State in round 1 and face the winner of Virginia Tech and Marquette in round 2. UConn, Kentucky, and Tennessee also make up the powerhouse teams in Baylor's quadrant. The game will be played on Sunday at 3 p.m. And also on the women's side, Gino Auriemma has tested positive for COVID-19 and will be delayed in traveling to San Antonio. On the men's side, 6 referees have been sent home from the bubble in Indianapolis due to a positive test and contact tracing. Reports state that John Higgins is included in the group. Elsewhere, Indiana fired head basketball coach Archie Miller yesterday, with Iowa State following suit soon after to let go of Steve Prohm after a dismal 2-22 season. Minnesota also fired their head man as Richard Pitino will no longer walk the sidelines after 8 seasons with the Golden Gophers. And Kansas State's Antonio Gordon has announced that he will be transferring from the basketball team to play his junior season elsewhere. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Bird Culchin Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culchin Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culchin Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new, pre-owned Bird Culchin Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership. Online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culchin Ford.
The holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Tuesday, everybody. March 16th. Bring it on. The Lady Bears bracket released yesterday. The men's bracket out this weekend. But in even bigger news this weekend, the Baylor track and field team taking home multiple national championships. And a part of that, Aaliyah Miller, an individual national championship in the 800-meter. Aaliyah joining the show today from the indoor in Fayetteville, Arkansas, winning it all. Aaliyah, what did that mean to you?
Oh, it meant the world to have everything come together that day and, you know, race strong and confidently and come out with the win.
So, Aaliyah, tied for the number 2 time in collegiate history in the 800 final. I mean, think about that. That's such a crazy stat. You are the second fastest person to ever run the 800 meter in the NCAA. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's unreal to even be, ranked that high and, be up with, a lot of talented women who've raced before me is just incredible. So it was a really special weekend and a really special race.
So not only that, but setting the meet record in winning the 800, the D1 Indoor National Championships. Walk me through a little bit of what it personally means to you to have that honor.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, a championship meet record is so special. A lot of times people just go for the win, and that's what I was going for. But once I realized I was taking it out hot, I was like, I might as well just keep going and see where it takes me. So to have a collegiate record like that sit up there, I know it's not forever, but for it to be up there right now just is everything to me.
Aaliyah, obviously coming in, you had a legitimate shot to win the 800. I mean, that was known. But as I was watching the ESPN broadcast, it seemed like they're just talking about athlete after athlete, and they never quite got to you, to where they were just like, oh, yeah, she's got a real shot. She might win this. It just felt like maybe you had almost an underdog mentality. Okay, I'm going to go out there and prove myself. Is that what it felt like for you?
Oh, most definitely. I feel like even with the rankings and other people, writing articles about it, nobody really counted me in to really win it. And that kind of drove me to prove them wrong. But also, most importantly, I was like, I really wanted to put Baylor in our conference on the map. I mean, everybody always talks about the SEC and the ACC. And even in the race, that's all they were talking about, the two ACC girls. But, I ran these times too. And, everybody looks down on the Big 12, but we were the leading conference for bringing home 3 national champions. So I feel like, we're in that same conversation with strong conferences, with strong performances. So it was just an amazing weekend for us.
How about that? I want to know, when you hold that national championship trophy, wearing the Baylor uniform, representing this university as a national champion, what does that part mean, being a Baylor Bear?
Yeah, I mean, it just makes me think of my entire journey here. I mean, I didn't get here alone. It was, my parents, my friends, my teammates, my trainers. I mean, they see me at my lowest, and now they've seen me, at one of my highest points in my career. So for it to all come together and have, that trophy just solidifying all the hard work and dedication I've put into, my training, it was just unreal.
I want to know, Aaliyah, too, what does this mean for the team as a whole to have a national championship on the roster this season?
Yeah, I think it really changes their perspective of what we all can accomplish individually, but also as a team. It was really inspiring seeing Casey started off for us, winning a title. I mean, we all knew he was ranked number 1, but to do it on the day means everything. And then having Akira win 10 minutes before me, I was like, I have no choice but, go show out. Like, to win 2 events in a row where we're both weren't ranked number 1, talking about other people and, calling it major upsets and not giving us credit. But I feel like, we're just going to keep working hard. We're not going to be complacent, and we're just going to still, push the pedal and train hard.
I want to take you back, Aaliyah, that 2020 season when you didn't compete in the indoor due to injury. I know you told us that it was injury, correct?
No, I just wanted to redshirt because it was Olympic year.
Gotcha. Olympic year, 2020, didn't compete. So I want to know, did that set you back, not competing?
Well, I initially wanted to limit my indoor races because outdoor I was going to be pretty heavy. But when I dropped that fast time in February, I did consider pulling my red shirt because I was going to be ranked number 2. So, I mean, that was a scary decision to even face. And luckily we didn't pull the red shirt, or else I wouldn't even be in the position that I am now, because with COVID canceling everybody's indoor nationals and then outdoor last season, I wouldn't have gotten that year back.
Wow. I guess it all really works out, especially now seeing what you've reaped from that. And in that race coming up, you talked about Akira and Casey and what they were able to do winning national championships before you. Take me through your thought process. What was going through your mind when you set for the 800 meter?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I had to kind of talk myself up to, run out, really crazy hard. But when it came down to it, I was like, this is what I've been preparing for. I felt very confident in my training and in myself. And, I had a lot of people cheering for me and rooting for me. So I just wanted to really execute my plan well and just see where that took me and just be proud of that regardless of the outcome.
Aaliyah, as you were running the 800, knowing, all right, past lap 1, I've got a shot to win the NCAA national championship. Were you looking at your times? Were you going through in your head like, okay, here's where I am. I'm close. I can do this.
Yeah. So I actually went out faster than my coach wanted me to. And I saw that in the first split. And I kind of was just like, but there was no reason to slow down. I kind of just like, if we're going out this hard, we're going to commit and we're going to keep pushing, and, wanted to make as much of an impact as I could to hold my lead and then finish strong.
That last 100, 200 meters for you too, as you were like, all right, I've got a little bit of separation here. It's time to kick it, turn it on, end this. What was going through your mind?
Yeah, I the last lap, I looked up at the screen for the very first time, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I could feel like, I guess the intensity of it, almost coming to a close. And I saw them coming up on me a little bit, but I was like, I'm not going to focus on them. I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to keep, pushing, maintaining my form, and just finishing all the way through the line, because I didn't know how the ending was going to go, if I was going to tie up really bad or if I was going to keep, pushing, but they ended out pretty fine. So that's good.
So it was Barton, Maloney, and Butler from Clemson, University of Arkansas, and then Virginia Tech that they all, 2 of the 3 set personal bests. And they were the ones that I guess national media had really highlighted coming into this race. Do you have a relationship with any of them? I mean, they all seem to be really, really good runners. And here you are with your name at number 1 and none of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're great competitors. I feel like the 800 field, we all kind of, know each other. I don't really know them that well because, we're in different conferences, and that was the first time I've actually raced any of them. But no, I think the way our field is, it's competitive before, but then after we're kind of like, we did it. It was a really gritty race, the 800 meters. So, it takes a lot of tough women to pull this off. So, I mean, big props to them too, because that was a very hard, run.
Without a doubt, just 0.5 seconds that separated you from those 2. And I mean, I know there are plenty of closer finishes in track and field, but no matter what, I mean, that right there, that margin is still slim. And I got to know, when you did cross the finish line, knowing that you were a national champion, what was the first thing that went through your head crossing as number 1?
Yeah, I really can't remember what shook me the most. The fact that I finally saw my name up at the top, or seeing 2 flat by my name, because I feel like I've been running 202 forever. I mean, I couldn't break that barrier, it felt like, but I didn't know. I mean, I didn't even realize that it was a meet record until they said it. But it was just so many things that happened all at once. I was just like, wow, like I finally did it. It's done. It's solidified. Nobody can take this away from me. And I was just really proud of that.
How about, not just that, but I want to know, how much pride do you have in this team? I mean, being a Baylor Lady Bear and having your teammates perform so well, not just in individual events, but even the 4x400 that you were a part of. I mean, what was that like to see your team compete at the highest level?
I'm super proud of them. I mean, we had 2 true freshmen on that 4x4 relay, one of them leading off and one of them finishing it off for us. I mean, that's just unreal for them to have, the mindset to do that, the strength to do it. And even through battling COVID, I mean, it's made this season so much more difficult with, contact tracing and catching COVID. Oh, I think it froze.
Did we lose you? Do we still have her?
Can
you hear me? I've got you. Yeah, we got you good.
Oh, okay. Oh, so I'll just repeat myself. I was saying I'm just so proud of them. I mean, through battling COVID with contact tracing and catching COVID and, making sure we're maintaining through protocol and staying diligent with training, because it was really hard, even with the, winter storm we had. I mean, it's like there were so many things in the world that was trying to stop us from trying to achieve what we wanted to do. And they persevered, and we came out, even stronger and, even more motivated to open up this outdoor season really strong.
Well, you've been an All-American before, Aaliyah, and you do it again here. I've got to know, if they didn't already, the track world knows your name. And going into this outdoor season, does it feel like, all right, I'm a national champion, maybe there's a target on my back?
Oh, for sure. I already know that there's going to be a target on my back. But for me, I've always seen myself as one of the top girls, in my field. And I think now after this race, I think other people are now agreeing or just seeing that correlation, which is nice to get that recognition. But I've already felt, that pressure that I put on myself and, for my coaches, that I can compete at this high level. It's just about maintaining my composure and racing smart.
How about this, too? The Olympic radar for you. You talked about taking that 2020 indoor season off with it being an Olympic year. I mean, now being the number one indoor runner in the collegiate game, in the 800 meter. I mean, what is your Olympic outlook at this point? Do you expect to represent the United States in Tokyo?
Yeah, that is definitely one of my goals. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how my outdoor schedule kind of pans out and how that leads up going into nationals and then Olympic trials.
Without a doubt. Well, Aaliyah, I want to get your thoughts last question here, just in general. And again, when you think about the feat that you accomplished, being number one in the country, national champion, the second fastest time ever in collegiate history in the 800, is this surreal?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it was just kind of like a cherry on top of a very well executed senior season that I set out forth to complete. So it just feels so good to, make goals and reach them and feel like you did everything that you could, that I could control right. So yeah, it definitely means everything.
Well, Leah, congratulations again. 800 meter national champion, right at that 2-minute mark. Always great having you on and to have you on here again. And congratulations. I mean, I swear, every time we have a track player on, I'm awestruck because you guys are unbelievable. It's great having you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Armstrong, do we have that video of Aaliyah winning the 800 meter? We do. We're going to go ahead and roll with that. And then when we come back from this and a break, we'll have Akira Nugent, who's also a national champion, joining the show. Again, that was Aaliyah Miller. And this right here is Aaliyah Miller winning the 800.
Now time for the women's 800-meter final. Ating Mo, the only collegian to ever break 2 minutes and 1:59. She ran the 400 earlier. Raven Rogers is the meet record holder at 2:01.09. And for Virginia Tech, this is a sophomore, Lindsay Butler. She was the 8cc indoor champion just a couple weeks ago.
I grew up playing soccer and swimming. Didn't really get into track and field until late into high school. But Dave Cianelli at Virginia Tech says she is blossoming.
Lori Barton of Clemson, the senior, will start out in 8. They have 2 groups, one of 5 and one of 3. They will stay in these groups through 2 turns and then break to the pole on the finishing stretch. Arkansas does have a scoring opportunity here with Shafiqua Maloney in this field.
Well, we highlighted the 2 ACC athletes. They were burning it up at those championships. The 800 meters was a really hot event for them.
So for Baylor, this is Aaliyah Miller, who has chosen to lead through the first 200 meters, 27.7.
Aaliyah Miller went 2:02 at Iowa State just a couple of weeks ago. So she definitely has potential.
It's Claire Seymour for BYU, currently in second, with Shafiqua Maloney of Arkansas in second. That means Baylor's Aaliyah Miller has a nice gap there on Shafiqua Maloney. And at the first 400, it's a blistering 56.9 by Aaliyah Miller. The rest of the people in the field thought, yeah, I think she may be going out a little too fast. Maloney in a good spot.
Well, let's keep an eye on her. She looks really good right now, but you go out that fast, you're going to pay the price somewhere. Question is, where's it going to be?
Lori Barton is now getting into second place. They're pretty much all counting on Aaliyah Miller not being able to keep up this pace, but behind her it is Lori Barton, Shafiqua Maloney, Lindsey Butler is there as well. That's still a pretty big gap. Miller of Baylor has been leading from the front, and everybody else is starting to run out of real estate. Lori Barton, now Maloney coming up, trying to challenge for second. Miller is going to win it wire to wire. 2 flat 68. That is a meet record. Now corrected to 2 flat 69, but she breaks the Raven Rogers meet record from 2017. But as importantly, she moves into spot number 2 all-time, tied 2 all-time amongst collegians.
Well, the senior from Baylor, this is just pure guts. She did a race plan that I don't think anybody would have put her onto. She did run 2:02 a couple of weeks ago, but here she just went out hard, comes through in 56 seconds, and just holds on. Just too much real estate to cover. 2-second PR. We're seeing things, Dwight, I don't think we expected to see here on finals day.
That 2 flat 69 ties the previous collegiate record that Ating Mo broke 2 weeks ago. Shafiqua Maloney of Arkansas gets 6 points for Arkansas. That was not expected. And John is with the winner downstairs.
Aaliyah Miller running from the front, wire to wire. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. It worked out for you. What was the decision to go early?
Yeah, that was my race plan, and once I wanted to go, I want to stick with it and hold on. Catch me if you can.
Nobody did, but at any point, where was the difficult point in that race for you?
Well, it was really surprising seeing how fast the splits were, so I wanted to make sure I didn't freak out and just keep pushing.
Great poise by you, a collegiate record for you, and a national championship. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How about that right there? Catch me if you can. Oh my gosh, Aaliyah Miller. And then how weird is that? They're like, hey, I know you just ran 800 meters as fast as you could. Here's a headset. We're going to interview you. Out of breath. Aaliyah Miller with an unbelievable meet record in the national championship, taking home an individual national championship. And then Akira Nugent, who joins the show in just a second after this break, a true freshman, also crowned national champion just before Aaliyah Miller. She joins after this. This is Up Tempo.
The Lady Bears are going dancing, and for the 9th straight season, Kim Mulkey's squad enters the postseason as a 2-seed or higher, as Baylor has clinched the 2-seed in the Riverwalk region. The team will meet 15-seed Jackson State in round 1 and face the winner of Virginia Tech and Marquette in round 2. UConn, Kentucky, and Tennessee also make up the powerhouse teams in Baylor's quadrant. The game will be played on Sunday at 3 p.m. And also on the women's side, Gino Auriemma has tested positive for COVID-19 and will be delayed in traveling to San Antonio. On the men's side, 6 referees have been sent home from the bubble in Indianapolis due to a positive test and contact tracing. Reports state that John Higgins is included in the group. Elsewhere, Indiana fired head basketball coach Archie Miller yesterday, with Iowa State following suit soon after to let go of Steve Prohm after a dismal 2-22 season. Minnesota also fired their head man as Richard Pitino will no longer walk the sidelines after 8 seasons with the Golden Gophers. And Kansas State's Antonio Gordon has announced that he will be transferring from the basketball team to play his junior season elsewhere. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Kerr has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Kerr, he has the truck for you. Kerr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Kerr, they have the truck for you.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
All right, welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. How about it today? Happy Tuesday, everybody. Aaliyah Miller just joined the show. We watched her 800-meter win at the Indoor National Championship meet in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And how about it? Another national champion joins the show today, and Akira Nugent. Akira, thanks for coming on the show today.
You're welcome. No
Absolutely.
problem.
It's great to have you, and congratulations on your national championship run. A freshman, a true freshman at Baylor, and 60-meter hurdle national champion. Akira, what does that mean to you?
Well, actually, right now, that is one of my biggest accomplishments I have made my entire time, like literally running, because the fact that I made it to nationals, well, maybe not as an only freshman, but I made it to nationals, and I was able to line up against the top 7 best girls in the finals. So that really meant a lot to me, and it shows that no matter my age or who I am, I'll be able to accomplish anything I actually set my mind to.
Akira, I kind of want to go back a little bit to your Baylor journey. I mean, hometown Kingston, Jamaica, and now being a Baylor Bear, living in Waco, Texas, of all places. What has this been like, moving to Waco and being here at Baylor on the track team?
Well, there's not really a lot of difference from like back home. Like with my team, there's not a lot of difference because there's support and all of that. And also for my coaching staff, I'm a type of athlete that has to have great coaching staffs around me, and also persons that are able to like help me as a person, because sometimes I kind of lose myself sometimes. But for the fact that I'm able to come here and persons can be able to like helped me to grow as a person. That is what I was really, really looking for in a school when I decided that I wanted to leave to go to college.
How about this, too? The national championship, 7.92 seconds. That is an under 20 world record. So when you look at the world record book, your name is right there. How special is that?
Well, for me to have my name in the book twice, that is amazing. It literally is. I have it at the youth level and now also at the junior level. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm pleased with myself.
Yeah. So like you said, the under 18 world record in the 100-meter hurdles with a time of 12.89 seconds, ranked number 7 in the world for the 2019 and under 18 100-meter rankings. I got to know, Akira, your recruiting process. You could have gone anywhere really in the country to run for any program, collegiate program. Why Baylor? What made you choose Baylor?
Well, a lot of person asked me this question before and I wasn't able to answer. But after a while, like getting here, I came to Baylor because I have to have a great bond with my coach. We have to have an understanding, like a daughter-father relationship whereby we can be able to talk about anything. And me coming here, I can literally do that with the coaching staff. And the fact that they see me as a person first before as an athlete, and they actually do keep me grounded to ensure that I'm on the right path that I need to be. And they have my best interests at heart. That was the main thing that I actually wanted. So I saw that in Coach Ben. I saw that in Bouquet and Coach Ford when I came here on my visit. And I felt like I was at home. And sometimes we don't make the right choice, even if we feel like we're at the right place at time. But the fact that I had some doubts at first, but after getting to say that, hey, you got to trust the process and just let them help you. And I did that. And after doing all of that, it became great results for me. So I know that I actually made a great choice to come to Baylor, even though others thought that I might not have been good with this decision. But the fact that I'm here and I'm proving that wrong, I'm proud.
Akira, there's a picture of you finishing up that 60-meter hurdle run where you're just the joy on your face, the big smile you have on your face. How excited were you? Did you know when you finished that you had run probably the best that you could?
Oh, well, I didn't know the time that I run. I was just happy that I won because at conference, like at the Big 12 conference, I actually took myself out of the race before I even started to compete. And that caused me to come second because I didn't do the best that I could. And the fact that I was crying because I cried and they were like, hey, okay, that's just the battle. We have war in 2 weeks, so you got to get your head right and focus and readjust and just go out there and have fun. And I did that, and to see that I was the first one across the line, and I ran 7.9 again. It actually felt really, really good to show that I was actually on form.
How about it? I really, just looking at your times, looking at all that you've done here at Baylor already as a freshman, I mean, Akira, you've got 3 more years to run track as a Baylor Lady Bear. Is this, does it feel like the whole country now is coming after you to try to beat your record?
Well, to be honest, I don't know, but in life, when you do sports, you have to have targets and you have to know who you need to go after and you have to know who's the best among you. But I think people will beat them. Absolutely.
And for you then, what is it like when you say that? You know, you have to know who's the best among you. What is it like knowing that it's you? You are the best among the young runners in the 60-meter hurdles in the United States. I mean, to be at the top of that list, what does that feel like?
Well, to have that achievement, it feels good. But then at the end of the day, I don't get complacent with it because then I realize that I still have people out there who are having me as their target, and I still have people ahead of me that are my target. So I have to still be climbing the ladder, keep composure, and remain humble in the best way possible, no matter the outcome of what happens in the future.
And with this team too, you got runners like Aaliyah Miller, who we just had on, and Casey Lightfoot in the pole vault, with people you compete alongside who are also national champions. What does it mean to be a part of a program that has multiple athletes at the very top of their sport?
Well, it actually means a lot to me because it's a small institution, and a lot of people don't really believe in Baylor, and the fact that we are showing out and showing that no matter how small our school is, we have phenomenal talent here. It is a really good look, and it's a really good feeling.
Absolutely. Then for you, from an Olympic standpoint, with this run, obviously your name is now on the Olympic radar, and folks expect you to make a run for the Summer Olympics, whether it be in this next one in Tokyo or following in 2024. Is your dream to be an Olympian?
Yes, I think that's everybody's dream that does track or any type of sports. I think that is their main dream, just to make the team, actually.
And when you think about that, being a national champion, holding the trophy, being in a Baylor jersey, the possibility of being an Olympian one day, is it kind of unbelievable? Do you have to pinch yourself sometimes and just think, wow, this is crazy?
Well, actually, when it happens on Saturday, my cut had to let me know that it was real because I actually fell. So I know it was real.
Wow.
But after reaching the finish line, I was like, I did not just do this. But I was really proud of myself because I actually worked really hard and I was battling with injury. So I felt really good with myself that I was able to come off injury and just kept it consistent with my times.
So tell me, through all of this, now being a national champion, and again, you have 3 years left in a Baylor uniform where you can go out and just win a couple more if you'd like to. I got to know, is this everything that you thought it would be, coming to Baylor? Is there any regret there, or is this just the perfect place for you?
There's no regret in life. When you make decisions, you just have to accept them no matter what it comes with, and you have to move forward even if it's good or bad. You just have to take it and just keep moving and keep your head up. Even though it hurts sometimes, you just have to say, I've made this decision, I've made this choice, and I have to deal with it the best way possible. So I've learned that anything that happens in life, never you have a regret about it, but it's a life lesson to teach you that you don't need to make that mistake again. You just need to move forward and let it motivate you.
Last couple of questions here for you, Akira. The outdoor season that's about to kick off, what are your goals going into this outdoor track and field season?
Well, my goals is to be the best me possible. My goal is to be able to finish this season injury-free. Even if I get an injury, it's nothing too serious. But my personal goals are goals that I'm willing to show on the track and not say.
I love it. I love it. Bring it on. And not only that, too, this team, what are the odds that this Lady Bear track squad can compete for a national championship in the outdoor season?
Repeat? Sorry, I missed it.
What are the odds that this team, your Lady Bear track and field team, can compete for a national championship in the outdoor season?
Every girl on this team has phenomenal talent. The reason why I think that most of us didn't make nationals was because COVID took us out, kinda, and we had to rush back to get back. But for outdoor, I think everybody's gonna bring the best that they can because they have seen most of us made nationals indoor and made it to finals. So they're going to do the best that they can to become a better version of themselves. And I think each and every one of us on this team is capable of that. Once we just keep the goal that is there and just keep grinding for it, we'll be perfectly fine.
And Akira, last question here for you. I know the folks at home want to know. I'm willing to bet, none of us in the studio, and I'm willing to bet most people listening, have never run the hurdles at a track meet. So in that 8 seconds or so that you're running, what's going through your mind?
Nothing.
Nothing. Blank space.
No, like if I'm going through something and then I have to hurdle, I actually see myself overcoming it. But if it's a fact where I'm like locked in and my blinkers are on, it's just me, the hurdles, and the line. Everything else just goes away.
Bring it on. Well, hey, it works. It works for you, Kerr Nugent, national champion in the 60-meter hurdles at the indoor meet in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Kerr, thank you so much for joining the show today. We loved that.
You're welcome.
Again, absolutely. Kerr Nugent, national champ, one of three, the trifecta for the Baylor Bears. Casey Lightfoot winning it in the pole vault, who will join the show at 12:05 tomorrow. Kerr Nugent winning it in the 60-meter hurdles, and Aaliyah Miller in the 800-meter All-American teams, or All-Americans across the board, 4x400 meter female pole vaulter as well. I mean, the track and field team, the ladies finished number 9 in the season, or number 9 of the country on the season at the poll that just dropped. And then the men finished 18. The men's track team finished 18 in the country. Tell you what, Baylor athletics across the board, unbelievably elite. I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong, Sims, Cole, Andrew. When we come back, breaking down a little bit more of this March Madness bracket, playing a little celebrity birthdays and this day in sports history. Apparently Cole's got some Hartford information he wants to share with the folks at home, and I want to hear it. This is Up Tempo.
The Lady Bears are going dancing, and for the 9th straight season, Kim Mulkey's squad enters the postseason as a 2-seed or higher, as Baylor has clinched the 2-seed in the Riverwalk region. The team will meet 15-seed Jackson State in round 1 and face the winner of Virginia Tech and Marquette in round 2. UConn, Kentucky, and Tennessee also make up the powerhouse teams in Baylor's quadrant. The game will be played on Sunday at 3 p.m. And also on the women's side, Gino Auriemma has tested positive for COVID-19 and will be delayed in traveling to San Antonio. On the men's side, 6 referees have been sent home from the bubble in Indianapolis due to a positive test in contact tracing. Reports state that John Higgins is included in the group. Elsewhere, Indiana fired head basketball coach Archie Miller yesterday, with Iowa State following suit soon after to let go of Steve Prohm after a dismal 2-22 season. Minnesota also fired their head man as Richard Pitino will no longer walk the sidelines after 8 seasons with the Golden Gophers. And Kansas State's Antonio Gordon has announced that he will be transferring from the basketball team to play his junior season elsewhere. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. It's been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Bird Culchin Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culchin Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culchin Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new, pre-owned Bird Culchin Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership. Online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culchin Ford. The
holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
All right, welcome back to the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is March, and March is mad. This is March. Baylor in the South region, the name brand region. Baylor, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Villanova. How about that? 3 teams in a row. North Carolina, Wisconsin, Villanova, who have all competed in the last 5 national championships. Those teams have all played in a championship in the last 5 years. Purdue up there. Texas Tech, another team's competed for national. They were national runner-up the last time there was a national title game. Arkansas won it in 94, went in 95. Florida won back-to-back. Virginia Tech is Virginia Tech. Ohio State was a Final Four team with D'Angelo Russell. I mean, it is the name brand region. There are some really, really good teams in this region that are experienced when it comes to winning games in the tournament. Obviously, Baylor is a part of that list, and a part of what makes this region so good. I mean, there's not another quadrant of the bracket that has that many teams. You're like, yeah, that team played in a national championship a couple of years ago. You know, there's not a single one of those in the Midwest. Not one in the Midwest. In the East, nothing. I got nothing. So, come on, folks. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough road for Baylor to be able to make the Final Four. The round 1 matchups against Hartford. We got old Andrew Robertson on the show today. Andrew, how are we feeling about the Hartford Hawks?
Well, to say that they are not a threat in the postseason would be an understatement. They've won 1 conference tournament championship, which was this year. That's how they made the tournament. They are pretty new to Division I. They got here in 2008 to the American East, and their only 2 tournament appearances were in the CIT, and they lost both of them.
Big time.
So this would be a real shock-the-world situation for the Hartford Hawks.
Wow. What do they do we have like a pace of play? Any statistics in there?
They've won 5 straight, so that's something. As far as their games, they're not exactly high scoring. I guess this would be what you consider a defensive team. Now, to be fair, I'm kind of omitting a lot of the tournament because they got really hot. But in the tournament, they scored over 70 points 4 or 5 times. But I'm more interested in what they held their opponents to. They held their opponents to 65 or less in 4 out of their 5 games. So I would say that this team probably is defensive heavy. But But everything's with a grain of salt because it's the American East.
Yeah, they lost to NJIT. They lost to Stony Brook, UMBC. They lost to Loyola, Maryland. You can see who that is. It's UMass Lowell. They lost to UMass Lowell. Tough. Really tough. New Hampshire. They got swept by New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And then they lost at Villanova by 34.
Yeah, by a cajillion.
They lost at Connecticut by 12. I'm not worried about round one. Baylor and Hartford, 2:30, True TV. Apparently, Impractical Jokers is on True TV.
It is on True TV, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so
Great
that's
show.
the one thing that I know from True TV. Thank you, Garland Bear, for that earlier on today. In the presser after the OSU game, Coach Drew, this on the Ribbon Liquor and Wine text line. In the presser after the OSU game, Coach Drew stated he wanted to review the film to see what caused the team to lose its 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. If you interview him again, would you ask him what was his conclusion after reviewing the film as to why the lead collapsed? I would assume that that's in reference to the Oklahoma State game. Was it a 10-point game? It ended up being 10?
We were up by 10 at one point in that game in the second half, and there was a lot of turnovers and fouls. We had Jared Butler had 4 fouls at the end of that game. I want to say Thamba had 4 fouls in like the start of the second half. So it was just foul trouble. We can't hit our shots at the line and turnovers. That was kind of the name of the game.
Flo Thamba was really good at fouling people. So we'll basically, I guess Baylor will play on Friday, and then if they win, it'll be Baylor will play on Friday, and if they win, it'll be a Sunday game for them. This Colgate men's basketball tweets, "Hey, at Bucknell men's basketball, got any tips for us?" And the tweet harbors a picture of Bucknell beating Arkansas 59-55 in 2006 in round 1 of the NCAA tournament. So the Colgate men's basketball team went in and grabbed an old picture of Baylor of Arkansas losing a tournament game to Bucknell and tweeted it. Are you just poking the bear at that point? Like if Baylor posted a picture of Hartford's loss to Villanova, just like the box score of Hartford and Villanova, like, "Hey Villanova, got any tips for us against Hartford?"
I don't think we need tips.
Or honestly though, I will say, if Hartford tweeted a picture of the Yale loss, of Yale beating Baylor, and was like, "Hey, at Yale men's basketball, got any tips for us?" That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Recognized game.
Probably fuel to the fire. Mark Vital would probably not like that. So I will say, though, that's Colgate men's basketball is asking for something right there. They probably added another 3,000 followers, though.
Yeah.
Just from solely them being controversial on Twitter. Great job, you guys at Colgate. Celebrity birthdays! Armstrong, you ready? What did you say?
I'm also... Was that in 2006 that they beat Arkansas?
Yeah.
And then they beat Kansas literally the year before that. Bucknell did.
Watch out for Bucknell.
Yeah, maybe Bucknell's just good.
Watch out for Bucknell.
Bucknell. At least they were hot back in the 2005-2006 range.
Is Bucknell in the same conference as Colgate? That would make it make more sense if they're friends.
Possibly.
I'm checking that. Please hold.
I think they're more just
down at the new
making a joke to try to.
They're in the Patriot League.
Okay, then yes, they're both in the same league, so that makes more sense. They're friends. Oh, Colgate's in Patriot.
Yep, they're in the same league.
Okay,
toothpaste.
Ooh, Colgate beat Bucknell by 30 points on March 10th.
Bucknell's
you don't use Bucknell to brush your teeth?
No, haven't in years. Not since I was a wee boy. I grew out of that phase. Celebrity birthdays. Number 1, Janae Aiko. Janae Aiko's birthday is today. R&B singer.
40.
30.
33.
Wow.
Alexandra Daddario.
60.
No, she's like 28.
35. She's 35.
All right, well, she actually does look great.
Lauren Graham. She looks familiar. She was the mom, and she was in Gilmore Girls. Lauren Graham. She's the wife in Evan Almighty.
That now I know what that is. I know who that is.
How old? Tell her happy birthday.
54.
65. No way.
54.
Just a gigantic fan of
Blake Griffin.
her work.
Ooh,
What's her name?
Blake of the year.
No clue. Don't remember.
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin's probably like 33.
30. 30.
32. Oh, James Matt.
Well, he's
Flava.
say 23.
I have no clue who this
I would
is.
think he's probably like in the 38, 40 region.
No clue who
Flava Flav is 62.
Yep.
Flava Flav.
You ever heard of Flava Flav?
Also, Victor Garber.
I've never
Victor
heard of
Garber's birthday is today.
Flav.
Flava Flav. Victor Garber's birthday is today. He was the captain in Titanic. The guy.
Is he like the baby food baby?
We're done. I'm passing over. I'm gonna pass over. Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Any good
What's
Baylor
baby?
kid
60,
shit.
60.
72. He was the engineer.
71 up.
This day in sports history, what happened?
Probably Grand National.
Grand National season is over, bro.
It is over.
You need to know these things.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm hooked.
How about Kelly Saunders and Rose Harlan fight first female boxing match in New York?
Oh, wow.
Wait, first female boxing match or first female boxing match in New York?
First female boxing match.
Oh, wow.
And it just happened to be in New York.
And it happened to be in New York.
Okay.
1950.
Key distinction.
1950?
1942.
You best bet they were in corsets and bonnets and dresses because it was 1876. That's right.
Oh
Wow.
Yeah.
That is early.
Don't underestimate.
1876 boxing match.
You want to
in New
scrap?
York.
And Major League Baseball suspends spring training, delays the start of the regular season in response to COVID-19, return dependent on recommendations by Centers for Disease Control.
18.
Close.
2020.
2020?
2020.
Hey, it was 2020. The next one, 2013, was... All right, gave you the year.
I wonder what year it is.
You know what time it is.
Later, guys.
That's all the time we have. I'm Drake Toll, Armstrong, Sims, Cole, Andrew, everybody. We're going to be back tomorrow breaking more things down on March Madness. A whole slew of guests coming at you for your Wednesday. This has been Up Tempo.